Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of the Boxing Coalition. My name is Cam. Joining me tonight, MV Chu, Daniel Lim and Nayota. How you doing, guys? Hope you're well.
Great.
I'm doing very well.
I hope you're doing well, Cam.
Yeah, I'm on the hipster tip, man. I'm on the Venice Beach hipster style. Got a little apartment for a few days with Dan, just a few blocks from the beach, so we're going to hit the lowrider bikes in a bit.
Cool story, bro.
Alright, guys, let's talk about the main event. The reason I came over to the States, Amir Khan and Canelo Alvarez. Chu, your thoughts on the fight and the brutal knockout?
Yeah, the brutal knockout. I've seen a lot of kind of reaction to the fight. I really, really don't understand how people were saying Khan was winning the fight up until the knockout. I didn't see that at all.
Preach.
I didn't see that at all. First round, I gave to Khan, definitely. He landed, even though Canelo landed a nice left hook, I definitely gave the first round to Khan just because he was controlling the action. He landed a couple good shots, especially right at the beginning of the round. But, in terms of the rest of the fight, I thought Canelo was landing jabs to the body constantly, right hands to the body constantly. And even with the culmination of all his body work in the sixth round, where that sixth round punch wasn't a fluke, that was 6 rounds of work, 6 rounds of a setup to land that punch. And previously I've said that Khan's got a good defence if he's throwing one punch at a time, but that wasn't the case in this fight. If you look at the knockout punch, and everyone's praising Khan for taking the fight. He got paid $12 million. So, $12 million to get knocked out, sign me up. I'd get knocked out as well. But that right hand that knocked him out, it was set up by 2 seconds before Canelo landed that right hand. Khan threw a powder puff jab, and Khan's right hand was nowhere near his chin, and Khan's chin was up in the air.
Yep.
And then he went to do the same thing again about 2 seconds later. Canelo obviously spotted what he was doing. He saw the first. Obviously, Khan was trying to double jab, and then he left a massive space in between these 2 hands, and the feint to the body. It wasn't even a feint. It was like a move, like a reflex flinch from Canelo, and then really what he was wanting is that overhand right hand. Wasn't even looking at Khan. Didn't have to look. There was just so much space in between.
So is it safe to say, True, that you had to fight 4-1 leading up to that 6th round?
Yeah, I did.
For Canelo.
I had round 1 to Khan, then Canelo second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth.
I disagree with most of that.
So what rounds did you give to Khan?
Me?
Yeah.
1 to 4.
You gave the 4th round to Canelo. I mean, for Khan.
Yeah.
Wow.
I thought it was close.
How many times have you seen the fight?
I thought it was close. Oh, I just watched it the one time, and then I watched the knockout a few times.
I thought the fight was close too, but I'll let True finish his thoughts, and then I'll just go on afterwards.
Well, I'm pretty much done. I've watched the fight first time, not live. In fact, I did watch it live. I've watched it 3 times now. I was kind of half asleep the first time. Second time, I watched it on a Russian feed. I couldn't listen to Jim Lampley and shit. I thought Jim Lampley. The first time I watched it was in the HBO. I thought Jim Lampley, Roy Jones, Max Kellerman were biased.
Yep.
Biased towards making the fight more competitive than what it was. I think everyone wants Khan to do well in that fight. Because everyone respects Khan for taking the fight in the first place. But don't lie. That's what they were doing. They always do this with some fights. They try to make it more competitive.
Yeah, I did think they were going overboard, but I didn't think they were necessarily making it more competitive. I thought each round was competitive. I never thought Canelo was out of the fight. I just happened to think. The 5th round was definitely a Canelo round. That was the first one I gave him, and I saw him changing the tide there. And so in the 6th round is where he really capitalized on it. But Yeah, I mean, Canelo did set up that shot really well, but I think it took him a few rounds to really start getting his setup together, because I saw a number of times where he swung and missed wide. He swung and missed as wide as he did against Mayweather and Lara, where he would throw a wild ass left hook, trying to catch Khan early in the first and the second round in particular. And I mean, he looked foolish, utterly, And the thing is, I want to mention this before it gets too late and I forget about it, but I'm sure you guys noticed Canelo's calves taped up. I think Canelo weight is actually working against him now. I think him draining down to 155 is more trouble than it's worth for him now. So even if he was to do another catchweight fight, I'm sure it'll probably be at 157, 158, something like that. But I mean, I thought that just that fact alone was going to make it so that it was tougher for him to cut off the ring, which is something that he's not great at in the first place, and then also make it so that if he wasn't able to catch Khan, fairly soon, that he could dig himself into a nasty hole to try and get out of. But it was a case of something where I saw that Khan's chin is just so bad that and Canelo's power is so good. I mean, I've never doubted Canelo's power. I was there when he flattened Baldomir face first. I was in the arena. I could hear Baldomir hit the canvas from where I was sitting, which was very far away. And I mean, just his power is real. And I knew that as soon as he touched Khan wouldn't even have the opportunity to adjust. So the adjustment that Alvarez made was pretty much the end of the fight.
For me personally, I didn't get much satisfaction when this fight was over. I told Cam this, and we were side by side when we were watching the fight. After the fight was over, I had a moment where I felt kind of shameful about what just transpired in front of me. We were sitting around a bunch of dumbass casual fans who were celebrating Canelo's knockout, taking selfies, shooting videos on their Instagram channels and whatnot, and I was just sitting there just worried about Khan's health. But for me, I still think Canelo's just a better fighter than Khan, despite the size advantage. I think what was happening in the fifth round, even if Canelo was a natural 147 fighter, I still think he would have stopped Khan later in that fight, just because you're right, Naoto. In the first 2-3 rounds of that fight, Canelo fought very, very sloppy, but the tide really turned in that fourth round, and he was just setting up his shots. And I think he was really learning Khan's flaws, because his flaws are so obvious. Me and Cam, we were watching that fight last night, and just the way his hands drop when he's trying to parry a punch is laughable. Not only does he try to parry with a hand to offset whatever punch is coming forward, but he parries with both hands. And in that punch that he got clipped with in that sixth round, he tried to parry that little feint to the body with both of his hands. They were by his stomach, and his chin was just straight up in the air. And I felt like he was really unraveling starting in that fifth round. I don't think I never thought Khan was a very good fighter. I never did. I thought his run at welterweight was a farce. And I give him credit for stepping up to Canelo weight and fighting Canelo, but at the same time, I give him shit because I feel like this has been Khan's MO these past 2-3 years, is that he's passing up on the fights that he should take, as if he feels that he's too good, that he needs to take the time to legitimize himself. I think he tries to think that he's some kind of star, that he deserves these Pacquiao, Mayweather, Canelo type of fights, when this guy hasn't done shit at welterweight. And after that Danny Garcia fight, his stock has dropped dramatically. So, I mean, it's kind of a two-pronged thing. I mean, I give props to Khan for taking the fight. I was worried as hell for Khan afterwards. I felt terrible for him, and I really wanted him to obviously get up as soon as possible. But at the same time, I feel like Khan acting like such a prima donna these past 2-3 years, he kind of brought this upon himself. And in addition to that, if I could just talk about the post-fight, I thought the way him and Virgil conducted themselves was just very strange. Like these guys just got knocked the fuck out. Obviously, Virgil's fighter got knocked the fuck out. And why the hell are they talking like they're a promoter or some kind of boxing pundit? It's like, oh, my fighter just got knocked the fuck out. But hey, you, the guy who knocked out my fighter, you need to now do what my fighter did. It's like, come on, man. That was not the time. It's sour grapes, but it felt very odd. The timing was really, really strange. It kind of reminded me of, things that happened in the kindergarten playground, when one kid bullies the other kid, and then the kid who got bullied was like, well, now you need to bully this other guy, But nonetheless, the fight was, I just had a lot of conflicting thoughts about it. I mean, I didn't learn anything at all from Canelo, but at the same time, I feel like Canelo's getting a lot of hate, and I feel like a lot of these fans who are criticizing Canelo are criticizing him because of the fashion in which he knocked Khan out. I guarantee you there was a large population of people leading up to this fight were clamoring for it. They were hyping for it. They were looking at pictures and saying, "Oh, Khan, he's pretty decently sized." Oh, and then suddenly he fucking knocks out Khan in the way that I expected and that most people expected, and suddenly they're throwing a hissy fit. I mean, it's a no-win situation, man. The casual fans, to me, on Saturday really exposed themselves as fucking idiots. But even the quote-unquote hardcore fans, on the day after the fight, I think they're kind of showing their colors, their biasness. So it's a weird situation to try to analyze and try to see how these two fighters move on. But I want to see Khan retire because I don't think he's going to be a top-level fighter even at welterweight. And they're talking about him fighting Danny Garcia next.
He's the mandatory.
I think Danny Garcia starches him.
Yeah, he's the mandatory for Garcia.
Yeah, I think I don't think you can only take so much punishment in this game, and that on Saturday night was the worst knockout in Khan's career.
Well, and if anybody has his number right now, has him timed, it's going to be Danny, by far, because he already fought him and he makes.
If they have a rematch.
Well, yeah, I mean.
Obviously, I know. I'm just saying Danny is
any
not a
other
good fighter.
Yeah, and then the thing is, Garcia is only bigger and stronger than he was in that first fight. Now, too, he's hitting even harder.
Can has got problems with guys who fights in combos, who punch in combos. He can block the first shot, but I mean,
he's got problems with guys that punch with him.
Yeah, that's real good timing. Like, guys are good timing, and I really, really didn't articulate my point about HBO properly. At the end of every round, they said Can clearly won that round. No, he didn't. It was competitive.
There was a moment, I think, in round 3 or 4. Where Khan landed a single 1-2 and Jim Lampley was like, "Oh, that was the best punch of that round. I think we'd have to mark it up for Amir Khan." And then
it was at the end of round 3.
Yeah, and then at the start,
Harold Letterman.
Yeah.
And then at the start of the next round, he was like, "Oh, maybe I got a bit too enthusiastic about my last comment about that." But Chew, it's an interesting point.
At the end of round 3.
Yeah, Chew, it's an interesting point you made about Lampley and HBO because me and Dan were driving back yesterday, and we were listening to a few podcasts and listened to what the general consensus of opinion was. And a lot of people had Khan up, and here's my honest opinion. When I watched it live in the arena, I had it 4-1 to Canelo. Live, I give Khan the second, I give Canelo the first, and obviously the rest. When I rewatched it yesterday, I give Khan the first and the rest to Canelo. How are people having Khan 3-2 up? I do not know until I watched it back with that HBO commentary, and I think a lot of people just got fooled by what they were saying.
Exactly. That is exactly right. These guys need to watch these fights without the HBO commentary.
Yeah. Well, you know what it is? To me, I don't really have an issue with having Khan up. I think that's totally plausible. For me, it was the backlash from, I think, Canelo haters saying, "Oh, how the hell could you guys score 3-2, 4-1 for Canelo," as if they were completely awestruck or they were as if that was impossible. To me, that's more frustrating because for me trying to be as objective as possible, I'm currently admitting that you could have it either way for either fighter. That to me isn't incredulous. Yeah. But on the opposite side, it seems like, again, it's just these haters.
It's backlash.
These haters are coming into mind, and they're saying as if, "Oh my God, Canelo was getting schooled. There's no way that he won 2 rounds." Fuck off.
When it's backlash,
Those rounds were all close.
Because people hated the fact that he got a draw card against Mayweather. They hated how he got the benefit against Trout, and they hated how he was winning every round against Gomez when he was getting the shit boxed out of him. In that fight, he lost almost every round of that fight before he knocked him out.
If you, like Dan said there, if you had the fight for Can, I could believe it. Every round was competitive, apart from maybe the 4th, 5th, and 6th, which I clearly had for Canelo. Maybe the 4th was kind of even, but the 5th and the 6th clearly for Canelo.
I gave the 6th round to Khan.
I thought 1 and 2 were the clearest for Khan. To be honest, I thought after those 2 rounds where Canelo started to at least sharpen up a little bit, and stop being trying to knock him out with one shot. When he started actually setting it up is when he started having his success. Because in the first 2 rounds, it looked like he was just trying to fucking highlight reel him.
Yeah, but at the same time, the significant punches I thought were all Canelo. I thought Cam was trying to do his shoe shining thing.
Yeah,
he done against Algieri.
I totally.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
I
just
mean,
going round in
I
circles
still thought he caught Canelo clean though. Canelo
People
had
like
both of his eyes were starting to blacken up a little bit, and that's not for no reason.
No, I agree with you. Like Canelo was using like the stab jab to the stomach. Well, the right hand was landing, and you saw it. The side of Khan's rib cage reddening up, and I thought the body were excellent. And I agree with you, too. I thought a lot of Khan's stuff was shoe shining stuff. Like he missed the first shot, landed the second, and just grazed the third. There wasn't a lot landing clean, in my opinion.
Yeah, at the end of the first round, in between the corners, Virgil Hunter said that Canelo was telegraphing his shots. And he was saying to Can, you remember what I told you about him? He telegraphs his shots. I think Can telegraphs his shots. He gets away with it because he's fast. To be honest, all this sounds as if I'm hating on Can. I mean, if everyone in boxing was like Amir Khan, we would have a big fight every month and everything would be honky-dory. So
you can't really say that. You can't really say that. Because Khan had plenty of big fights to make at welterweight, and he didn't take any.
But he didn't want to do that. He wanted to bypass that shit. He wanted the big fights. He wanted his name on the billboards in Las Vegas. He wanted something glitzy, glamorous, and illustrious.
And the bullshit of it. And the bullshit of it is the people, they say it's a high risk, high reward. Because he could just say, well, Canelo was too big, I'm just going to go back down to my weight.
Naoto, just repeat that because you cut off halfway through.
No, I said it was high risk. People say like it was high risk, high reward. It wasn't. It was high risk physically, but it wasn't high risk commercially. It wasn't high risk for his career. He could just make the excuse, oh, he was too big, I'll just move back down. So it was a low risk fight and for a super high reward in terms of what it means to his career.
It's kind of like when people give to charity. They'll never see the results of that giving money away. If they give money to some charity in Africa, like fucking putting clean water in somewhere in Africa, they won't get to see the results of that. Can's doing this to make himself feel good. You know what I mean? And it's making himself richer as well, obviously, but it's kind of like the adulation that he gets, knowing that he's probably not going to win, but he's taking a risk. Man, that seems... I feel
so
bad
stupid
saying that.
to me. That's so dumb.
What, me saying that?
No, not you saying that. No, the perspective from Khan. It's like, I'm going to get in this extremely lucrative fight that I believe 99% I'm not going to win. But it's so people are still going to give me credit for stepping up. To me, that's bullshit, man. Go fight someone your own fucking size and actually have a chance of winning rather than stepping up for these glamour fights, these freak show fights, man. I don't want to see this shit. That's why I think just as much as it's Canelo's fault. No, let me say this. Let me rephrase that. It is more of Canelo's fault. It's more of Golden Boy's fault, and it's more of the WBC's fault than it is Khan's fault. But Khan has himself to blame as well for taking this fucking fight. You can't just use the crux and say that, I stepped up. No, motherfucker. You decided to take this fight, and you got knocked out, probably knowing that you would have been. So I don't want to hear that shit.
If Khan could do what Canelo does and make a Khan weight, he would. 7 days a week.
No, I disagree there. See what you want about Khan, but he's fought a lot of guys, but he's not going to fight Kell Brook. That's the problem. I've heard other podcasts shitting Kell Brook, like the boxing voice and shit, and it's like, it's not Kell Brook's fault. Fucking Kell Brooks wants to fight him. Yeah. But Khan would rather fight a guy who he knows he's going to lose to than, like, any loss is okay, but to lose to him, to lose to Kell Brook, he doesn't want that. Whatever.
And that is so petty. That is so petty to me.
That is petty.
It pisses me off so much that he wouldn't take the obvious logical choice, but rather take this freak show fight that doesn't do anything for either fighter. It pisses me off. And in addition to that, I just want to say that this isn't a low-risk fight for Khan. I think this fucks up Khan's career, because not only do I think he should retire now, but I think his chin, I think is even more fragile than it was before.
No, I said it is a high physical risk, but not a.
I think it's a high. I think it's a high risk in the sense of promoting Khan as well. I mean, how illustrious is a Kell Brook Amir Khan fight now, compared to what it was prior to the Canelo fight? I don't know how you sell a Danny Khan fight.
Well, the problem is if he would have got knocked out by Brook, the Canelo fight would have never been there though.
Okay, but I guess my response to that is the Canelo fight should have never happened in the first place. So
No, of course.
it's kind
But
of
I mean,
almost
if he would have got knocked out by Brook, his stock would have gone down for less money anyway.
I agree with that. But just going back to, I guess, what you initially said about the Canelo fight, I think this has huge ramifications in how you promote Khan moving forward. I think it damages his brand a lot. Because the thing is, I don't care what you say about the justification of him moving up. Trust me, just going to that fight on Saturday night, it just reinforced the idea to me of how much of the boxing population who watches these big Canelo fights, 90% of them are dumbass casual fans. So when they see a guy like Amir Khan get knocked the fuck out, in the back of their heads, they're not using the explanation of, oh, this guy had to jump up 2 weight classes to get knocked the fuck out. All they see is the knockout. That's it. So.
I agree with everything you said, Dan. That's
true.
Preach. But here, can I just say, Wasif in the chat, I just want to respond to him before the comment goes away. Wasif in the chat is saying, Chew, I think it's the money as well. He doesn't want to give Brook his highest payday. Why not?
That's even more petty.
Yeah, I know. Why not?
So why are you counting other people's money?
That's such a bitch-ass move. Yo, Kev, I'm glad you joined, but that's such a bitch-ass move. You don't want to fight another guy just because you don't want to give him a payday when he deserves it, and you're going to be making more money than him. So that's your reason for not fighting him? Like, what the fuck is that shit, man?
If everyone was
going to... That's a joke.
I mean, it's kind of like this narrative that's getting said about Can. Like what I said earlier, you know, if everyone in boxing was like Can, we would have big fights every month. But if everyone was like Can in the way that he treats Kell Brook, we would never have any fights, man.
Khan is as big of a big-timer diva as Cotto and Canelo. Like, that's like I said, if Khan could pull a bullshit catchweight fight and fight freaking Carlos Molina 20 times, I'm talking about, you know, lightweight Carlos Molina, he would.
I swear, that's the type of shit that Floyd would say. Oh, I'm not going to fight this guy because I don't want to give him a payday. Fuck out of here. Hey, but Kev, it's glad to have you on, man.
Wait, it harkens back to Hatton versus Witter, too.
Exactly. You know, I was thinking that at the same time. Ricky Hatton was wrong for not giving Witter the payday. Anyway, Kev, sorry.
No, I was listening in on Mixler. I wanted to call in because I agree with everything Lim was saying. It was just like I'm totally against the give Khan credit because he moved up narrative to make a big fight when no one wanted to see this fight. And we all remember the call when we just started shitting on this fight. I think it was the MMA call actually, and we're like, what is this? Why? You know, so instead of giving us the big fight where he probably would have made way more money in a fight everybody wanted to see versus Brook, he gives a fight where he could get knocked out and use the excuse, well, I went up, so it doesn't hurt me, it doesn't count against me. Like,
and the thing, Kev, is I don't think that's going to work. I don't think that excuse works.
Me neither. I think it was just a cop-out, and it just got magnified by his post-fight comments, like they're playing matchmaker afterwards with somebody else's career, like it has anything to do with them.
Right.
No, it works for casual fans and people that, you know, there's going to be a bunch of people for his next fight calling in saying like, oh, he stepped up to the plate and all kinds of shit and, you know, and forgetting all about it. It's just excusing it because Canelo was bigger than him.
Well, what's really on the board for him if he doesn't fight Brook? Like, no one's going to give a shit. Yeah, but who cares?
But even the Brook fight, man, like, how do you promote that shit? Oh, we have Kell Brook, a rising IBF titleist, and we got Amir Khan, who just got knocked the fuck out for the 3rd time.
Yeah, but it's like that internal thing because there's that personal turmoil, and
that fight's not going to happen.
So hyped, yeah.
That fight's not going to happen. It's going to be Khan versus Garcia too. I bet you.
And he's going to get knocked out again.
And who's really excited or would want to watch that? Like Danny Garcia's mastering taking fights no one gives a shit about. Guerrero, Paulie Malignaggi, it's like, you know.
Berto, if it's not.
I mean, Rod Salka is now a vowel. Rod Salka is now a vowel because of Danny Garcia.
But that's what Danny Garcia's dad wants. I mean, Angel Garcia has been on many a video interview saying that that's his career objective, to just fight B-sides.
Yeah, he wants everything to be like wrestling in the 80s where a good fighter fights a jobber. You don't have 2 elite guys versus each other. Like, one guy has to be the Brooklyn Brawler, one guy has to be Hogan.
I knew you were going to bring up the Brooklyn Brawler.
Regarding the Canelo fight, though, was there anything that you took away from that fight from Canelo? And I guess his chances at middleweight moving forward?
I guess, like you said, though, I don't know. I think Canelo still has like the same issues that he's had in the past. But I liked when he switched up and he started throwing that right hand to the body, and he like it's like kind of like a sweeping right hand, but he throws it to the body. Like most right-handed fighters fall in love with the left hook to the body and forget all about throwing the right hand when it's technically, you know, the closer part. And if the guy's blocking it, he's blocking it with his jab arm, so he's keeping him occupied. I don't know why they don't throw more of those, but he started hitting them with those, and you saw Khan like just jetting to his right, just running away.
Yeah.
So I liked how he adjusted and threw that in there.
Right.
Well,
but he didn't really do much else, right?
Well, that's a punch he's definitely going to need eventually if he winds up fighting Golovkin, because nobody's really ever gone to his body. You know, test that body out and see what it gets you.
Yeah,
Very few people have an iron body, you know, even if they have an iron chin.
He had a pretty nice stab jab. Yeah, I mean, Canelo, I learned nothing from it, but to me what I thought was just more laughable was just how much criticism he was getting after the fight, and there were some morons who went far enough to say, oh, this shows that Canelo isn't, you know, a top-level guy anymore, just because he missed like 4 or 5 looping-ass left hooks, which admittedly didn't look good, but hey, fuck it, he was going for the home run, and he adjusted afterwards, so.
Well, he knew he just had to land to get him out of there, so who cares? If you miss big, you know? And he also, I think the post-fight, where, do you think he got so hyped up with the Triple G stuff because that whole Mexican-style thing that was going on for a while? Like, you think? Like, because there seems some, like, animosity in his voice.
It's because a lot of the commentators in Mexico, Marquez, Barrera, Estrada, have been talking a lot of shit about Canelo not fighting Golovkin, not fighting actual middleweights.
Oh, so yeah, I didn't know about that.
A lot of the other Mexican champions too, Ganigan Lopez, guys that just became world titleists down in Mexico are like, you know, talking badly about him. So he's got a chip on his shoulder about that.
Yeah, because he was fucking pissed.
You mean those guys who wash Canelo's cars on Sundays?
At the All-Star Car Wash?
Yeah, those little motherfuckers.
Yeah, but because he was pissed. He goes, but then I do think, like he said, he was just like, he was beating around the bush about the fight and basically said, you know, we fight for pride, we don't fight for belts. Like, he was setting up the whole narrative of just dropping the belt, like, pretty much, it seemed.
Well, and the thing is, he has the Oscars Ring Magazine belt and the lineal title. So all he has to do is to say, "Fuck the WBC, I got the real belt."
His name is Canelo. He doesn't need a belt. So
yeah, exactly.
Same way he dropped the belt instead of fighting Lara for it.
And even if he did, he has the one that fucking Rocky Balboa had, that Marvin Hagler had. You know, the whole nine.
When Balboa had his gold trunks on in the Ring Magazine cover.
Exactly.
But you know, when he's saying that I don't fuck around. You know, I'm actually a defender of Canelo on his past resume. You look at his past resume. Okay, he's fought some fucking small bums. Like,
but he
with
fought
Canelo,
brother. He fought Trout and Lara when nobody else wanted to, and there was
exactly,
no money
Jeff.
Yeah.
And when he really didn't need to.
Yeah.
Especially
look
that
what he
fight.
did. Like, that's when you knew he was a star. When he fought Lara, he got 300,000 buys. You know.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a bipolar thing with him. It's like he wants to step up, and then it's almost like Oscar gets in his ear and is like, no, we need to fight these guys instead, and then he kind of relents. You know, it's kind of a weird thing. I think he truly is a bit of a hothead though, and he really gets pissed when people talk badly about him. So I'd be willing to bet that he can be goaded into a fight like that. I think he really can.
Well, good for him, because no matter what the justification is, there's just too many pussies in boxing. Too many pussies who don't want to take the fight that should be made. So I think the fight's going to happen. I think it's going to happen within a year.
I think George Martin will release another Game of Thrones book before we see that fight.
Well,
I think Charles Martin might win another title before we see that fight.
I think Chris Martin will win another Grammy before then.
Because it is true, because again, just judging from, I think, the reaction that I got from all the people who were in the arena on Saturday, dude, they don't care who Canelo fights, you know. And even if they do care, even if they do want a Canelo versus Triple G fight, Oscar and Golden Boy, they can spin it however they want. They can do whatever PR stunt they want to make it seem as if there was a fallout for the fight not happening, and it'll be fine. And Canelo will continue doing his fucking numbers, man.
Yeah.
So.
And this is all they have. Like, if you're Oscar, that's all you have. It's like a salesperson only has one client. You got to protect that client.
Right now they're talking about him and Pacquiao.
Did you see that? Did you see that grin on Oscar's face, man? I swear he's back on the sniff.
Oh, he's on the shit. Did you see that interview he was doing before, like 2 weeks before the fight in his t-shirt and shit?
Yeah,
he was all geezed up.
And then we saw him.
I don't see why not. And then he had that whole look like he was like.
Why not?
Yeah,
I don't see why not.
and we saw him a couple hours later. We saw him a couple hours later, and he looked like he was on a downer.
What'd you say, Cam?
I said we saw him a couple hours later in the club, and he looked like he was on the down part of the drugs. He looked fucked up.
Canelo will fight Triple G, no problem. He'll fight at 160 or 152. It doesn't matter.
Fucking guys.
Man.
I liked his poker analogy though. In the post press conference, he was saying in terms of negotiating with Triple G that he's got 4 aces and Triple G's got a pair of 2s. And I was just like, that's not accurate, man. I think really in terms of like pay-per-view, in terms of like Triple G could probably sell out New York more than maybe Canelo could. I mean, I'm sure Canelo could.
No.
But I definitely
you gotta understand that gate, Chew. Like,
it's the only thing that matters.
His gate's only like $1 million. It's not like he's selling a lot of $50 tickets, and you know what I mean. So it's not like he's doing $2-3 million gates. He's doing like I think $1-2 million gate, whereas Canelo is just way superseding that.
Yeah, that's
but
Canelo's gate on Saturday does $7 to $12 million.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy. Go ahead.
No, I'm not saying that Canelo's not the bigger star. He clearly is, but I just think that Oscar's setting the table to not fight next.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, I agree. But
I mean, because he's taking advantage of the fact that most of these fans really don't give a shit. They they don't know. They really don't know shit about boxing. They think that Canelo's this amazing superstar, and really they don't even. A lot of them don't even seem to care that he kind of went out like a punk against Mayweather. A small old guy that he probably should have broken in half. But
let's not go back to that. But I think one thing.
Slim, do you think just the atmosphere there that people want to just show up for a party, so no matter who he fights, they're going to show up?
The atmosphere wasn't even that lively at the fight. So when I heard that he got 16.5 thousand to sit in that fucking arena, I was impressed. And the thing is, I remember leading up to this fight, I was telling you guys that I don't think this. I was telling you guys that this is a no-win situation for Canelo. I completely take that back. I think this is a win for Canelo because all these dumbass casual fans, all they see is that highlight reel knockout. This was all over SportsCenter right after the fight was over. It was a leading story on SportsCenter, and the only thing that they were showing was that vicious 6-round knockout of Amir Khan.
Well, to be fair though, SportsCenter was also bringing up Golovkin's name too in relation to it. So I mean, they definitely have a dig in somewhere themselves. They mentioned Mayweather too for a rematch, but they made it a point to mention Golovkin first before anything else.
I tell you what though, welterweight or not, that was some knockout. That was like Amir Khan looked like Mr. Fantastic from the Fantastic Four.
Actually, I wanted to discuss that because at the time, man, I was visibly upset, man. Seriously,
it was scary, right?
Yeah, it was scary because. It's not that's just the way he dropped now, and he had that same reaction he had when he fought Prescott. It's like his head and his neck wanted to move, but the rest of his body looked paralyzed. The way the doctor jumped in and he was down for a long time as well.
Yeah.
Well,
like 2-3 minutes, right?
Telecast, he did kind of talk like I'm okay type of thing, but. So that was good at least, because it was scary when his head bounced off the mat like that.
Yeah, that's the worst part when you get that second concussion.
Yeah, but I think the bigger story is, and what we have to really praise and keep in mind is just the type of class that Canelo showed afterwards when he got on his knees to check his fellow fighter. I think that was the most beautiful part of that fight.
Yeah, he didn't even get a chance to celebrate. He turned right around. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, I'm trolling halfway there. I don't think that was the main thing, but I thought it was respectful just because me and Cam were talking about it. Remember when Gervonta Davis and Robert Easter knocked out their opponents? They were dancing, they're doing the dab, just acting like fucking
Well, they
clowns.
didn't blast them out like that though, too.
Which makes it even more commendable, right? Imagine if they had done that. So I just think it was pretty cool that Canelo showed that kind of class, but at the same time, I just, like Cam said, I was just more worried. I was just more upset because when that knockout occurred, I was like, this should have never happened. This knockout was entirely avoidable, and it was just at the expense of all of these fucking fans to watch a complete mismatch.
Lim, before the show started, I was actually thinking, some of that where he, when he knelt beside Khan, do you think a lot of that was maybe guilt? The fact that he knew, look, I shouldn't really be in a ring with this guy?
Probably so.
I don't think that. I just think he doesn't want to see anyone get hurt like that. And Canelo's always been the really respectful type. Even when Kirkland got brutalized,
True.
He didn't celebrate afterwards at all. He just went to check in and see how he was doing.
But like Wilder versus Shibata, similar type of thing. He was pretty concerned. So I think it's really just probably a natural thing. A guy that knows that they have huge power and they can really fuck somebody up.
Or how about this, Nota? Why don't we have a toe-to-toe argument right now and have a boxing MD type of racism or discussion? It's because Wilder is black, he doesn't care, and Canelo's Mexican, so he does care. That's the basis of that.
Yeah, shout out to Dave the Sinister too.
You think this does good pay-per-view numbers?
I think so. There was a lot of talk about the fight.
They even had ESPN Radio up here. They were talking about it, which is very odd.
And to get really nerdy and geeky on you guys, supposedly afterward the fact, it was had like 2.5 million Google searches. So it was really talked about.
What's Google?
By the public. Google is a web search engine. I could talk about it to you later if you want, but I don't think it's appropriate for this podcast.
Lim getting all technical with the analytics.
Yeah.
Talking about the googly.
The googly.
I just wanted to say, there's you see a lot of people on Twitter criticising people who celebrate the greatest thing in boxing, a knockout. And it's the hypocrisy of boxing fans. I guarantee you that when the first time they see that knockout, if they're in private, they'll be like, "Ooh!" Giving it the big, "Ooh!" like that. Like, "Whoa, what a knockout, yes!" And they'll be getting hyped up for it. But if they're it's like, then they're virtue signaling. They want to show that they're a good person, that they're concerned for Amir Khan. I hope he's alright. And you get boxers and shit like, "Oh, you've never boxed," and how can you say this about Amir, and his health and safety is first and shit. It's like, why? This is the only sport in the world. We know they get hurt, but this is the only sport in the world where you can't celebrate the greatest thing in it. The only reason we watch the fights, to be honest, we want to see these kind of knockouts, and we can't celebrate it. And if we do,
you can.
What's interesting to you is what Dan mentioned earlier.
If I want to celebrate somebody getting knocked the fuck out, I'm going to do it. I could give a shit less what anybody thinks about it.
True. What's interesting is Dan mentioned earlier that after the knockout happened, a lot of the people around us were taking selfies, and whooping and hollering.
They're taking selfies next to Khan or fucking when he's down in the ring. I mean, that's a bit much.
No, but what I'm saying is, I disagree with him. I think that's what they were there for. If you're going to a boxing event, you want to see knockouts. So I wasn't upset that people were enjoying him getting knocked out. Obviously, I was scared for his well-being, but I don't think it was bad that people were hooping and hollering and making comments.
Well, the thing is, I think there's varying degrees to it. If a guy gets knocked out and he gets up after 10, 20, 30 seconds, that's different. But Khan was there on the floor for about 2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, I mean, at least he got
difference.
up, though.
I wouldn't. But the thing is, I didn't know that though. For 2 to 3 minutes, I didn't know what the status of his health was. I mean, God forbid he could have been. I mean, what if he was paralyzed from that incident and he couldn't get up at all?
And see, and being in the arena, I'm sure you probably really felt that in a major way because
that's exactly how I felt.
Yeah. Because I mean, at least on camera, you could see that he started talking to the ref after a little while. He still wasn't moving, but he was at least, with it. His head was there.
I'm not just saying this to be funny. Has anyone ever died from a punch like that? If they die, it's from accumulation or, you know what I mean? It's like...
Well, and it's usually it'll be accumulation, and then sometimes it'll be a punch after the accumulation,
But there's also the fact of how his head lands as well. Like his head hit the canvas pretty hard.
Yeah. You know what? Actually, I'm thinking of, I forgot who it was. I think it was probably a lower weight fight from the mid '90s or something, where somebody's head, it's almost like they bounced off the rope, and it like hit the back of his skull actually hit like
Watson.
the edge of the ring. It was real bad. So yeah,
Chris Eubank
killed him.
Chris Eubank Watson fight.
Yeah, similar.
If I'm Khan's family, I don't know how you proceed with a Danny Garcia fight.
I
Do his parents not love him?
I actually think his mum will ask him to quit.
Yeah, but will he listen to his mother?
I think he will.
What about his pops though?
He's already talking about the fight though. Khan's already talking about that Danny fight.
True. But talk is one thing.
Just
Actually
utterly
setting the
ridiculous.
Well, he's going to be out.
He needs to quit, man.
I agree.
I mean, how many of those types of knockouts can you really endure? You know, and it's sad because I don't even know what to make of Khan's career after the Danny fight as he transitioned into welterweight. I mean, what fight is it really the point of? Or point at, rather? I don't know. I don't want to shit too much on Khan because he already obviously went through a pretty devastating knockout, but
yeah, I mean,
I've always been very, very critical of him.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing for Khan is everybody at 147 that matters right now can hit, and hit very hard.
Exactly, and that's the thing.
See, to be
it's a
honest,
difficult proposition if every time that you get in the ring with a decent boxer and a decent puncher, like you're not quite sure if he's going to survive. That's a pretty bad position to be in as a fighter.
Has anyone got any final comments about the fight?
I really hope that Canelo fights freaking Golovkin. I mean, I know it's probably not going to happen. I'm sure he'll probably wind up fighting Pacquiao, like I mentioned. But you know, I'm tired of him being, you know, a paper gangster and acting all big and badass and stuff. You know, calling people out, talking shit to them, and you know, having 1,000 people between them. And then, you know, actually acting different when it comes down to, you know, putting your balls on the line. I'm really tired of that from him. And I hope all the other fighters do keep talking shit about him until he fucking does it.
Anyone else?
Yeah, Dan says he doesn't want to shit on Khan, but we've just shat on Khan for 45 minutes. and that's fine, because I think that kind of balances out what I've been hearing everywhere else.
Well, to be fair, you know, when this got announced, we had a chemo special on the Friday, and a lot of us were very critical about this fight, and we had a lot of feedback saying that, you know, we were in the wrong and this and that, and it seems like the tides have turned because everyone's saying, oh, it's a mismatch, this and that, blah, 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 but we said that from the start. Regardless the fact that it was a big fight that got made out the blue and no one even had an inkling it was about to be signed. If you take that out the picture, it was a massive mismatch, and Khan did it for the money. And I said to him, I said at the time, I thought he sold out for a big fight and the money, because I was saying to Dan, you know, he wanted the arrivals at the MGM, and he wanted those big press conferences and his picture in front of the MGM and on these big billboards in Vegas. That's what he wanted, and obviously he got it. But at what price? Obviously a big price because he got paid a lot of money as well, but
What money?
your health is important, man.
Yeah, there's no point in getting all that cash if you don't have your life to spend it.
Yeah.
But you know, even like a couple of weeks ago, I was saying that, you know, I was kind of warming up to the fight, but I was never warming up to the fight in terms of the competitiveness of it. It was like the occasion, you know, Cinco de Mayo. It's kind of gimmicky, you know. Amir Khan, for whatever you think of him, he's a big name. It's
No, he's
two
not.
big names fighting. He's
Not a big name. No, he's not.
Yes, yes.
He's really not a big fan. A big name, too.
He's a big name. He's a big name in the UK.
Okay, but in the States where the fight actually took place and where he's fought the past 3-4 years, he's not a big name.
No, I disagree.
Come on,
obviously
man.
you
we
live
were
in
there
the
at the
States,
fight.
but-
We were there at the fight this past Saturday. The amount of Khan fans in that building was very, very small. He hasn't been a draw in the States in a while. Why the fuck is he fighting at Barclays against Chris Algieri then? In a place where he has zero fans.
Yeah, but he's getting paid.
But
so
that doesn't
much.
matter. The PBC
getting 2 million
overpays their
Google hits.
fighters. That's because
2 million.
Because he got knocked the fuck out. That's why. At his own expense. I'm sure I could get 1.5 million Google searches if somebody knocked me the fuck out on the street. That doesn't mean I'm a star.
No one would do that, Dan. You got too much thickness.
No, well, nonetheless, I'm just saying.
So-
do you think Khan's a star?
In
Ken,
the UK,
even
he is.
in the UK,
Not in the UK,
he's a
yeah.
star.
Not in the States.
Yeah, he's a star in the UK. He's a household name.
I feel like he's a star in the sense that he's a laughing stock, though. Like, do people respect him? Is that why he's a star? Is it because they commemorate him? They view him highly as a boxer? Is that why he's a star, or do they just like to kind of point and criticize at him?
Well, I mean, he was really highly heralded after the Olympics, so I mean, he was a star from the jump, to be honest.
Yeah, but what
Before he
happened
turned pro.
afterwards?
Yeah, I mean, it's still. Well, I mean, what happened after Canelo lost? I mean, he's still a star. So, I mean, it's one of those things where sometimes fan bases are just that fucking oblivious to everything else that happens to you.
Come on, man. Canelo has actually done stuff, and he was okay. Let's just get off this topic because it's pretty pointless. But we can move on.
Yeah, I just wanted to move on and quickly discuss my my first experience in Vegas. Very enjoyable. Jose was saying though the event atmosphere the night before and on the day, it didn't really have that same feeling he's had on previous big fight weekends, especially with Cinco de Mayo. A few of the taxi drivers echoed that sentiment. Obviously for me.
Some of which were fucking idiots. So I don't put too much stock into what they had to say.
I'll give that guy a pass. Continue. But yeah, I gotta say, man, it was great to meet Jose, his beautiful wife Rebecca. It was great to meet Abe and his beautiful wife Marie, and great to meet my boy Gil and his beautiful wife Carmen. We went out for dinner.
Gil's in the chat too.
Yeah, Gil's in the chat. We went out for a meal on the Friday. Jose, man, he's a slick dresser, man, looking slick. Just enjoyable time. And Vegas, if you're a boxing fan, it's just crazy because we were just walking around the bottom of the MGM, and it's like basically a big mall at the bottom. It doesn't feel like a hotel; it feels like a mall. And we walk in and we see Lennox Lewis, and they get a picture with him. And then on fight night, the arena. I thought the arena was beautiful. Jose made a comment that it felt a bit cold in the sense of it was a bit new. There's no kind of history there. Obviously, that's gonna be the case, but I really enjoyed it. I thought the seating was pretty good. Again, Jose kind of disagreed. I'm gonna get him on the call soon to get his opinion. They thought maybe some of the upper tier seats were a bit too highly rated, where you kind of sat too on top and the angle's a bit too steep. But one thing I discussed with Dan, I was really upset how the ticket situation ended up, because me and Dan paid, like, those tickets were going half price the day before and on the day, and that was a lot of money, and for us to spend that and kind of other people to get bargains, like for the same seats that we basically paid, is a bit it hurt a bit. Luckily me and Dan used some slickness. I used my southpaw moves, and we just skipped past some of the attendants at the lower tier, and we managed to creep forward, get some excellent seats. I think those seats.
I mean, I didn't want to do that, but I kind of was forced to by Cam.
Yeah, like,
because Cam usually likes to do these devious types of things.
Yeah, Cam, you're a bad influence, Cam.
I'm a very bad influence.
I wanted to stay in my seat, like we should have, like legal citizens of the United States, but this guy just wanted to. He was out on a vengeance. I think
it's all on me.
Was a little braggadocious. Coming from the UK, he thought he was.
He was getting revenge for the TSA stopping him, and for a random check.
Yeah, and then he saw some of his fellow con army compatriots, and I think he suddenly got some big balls. And the Capone song didn't hurt. That definitely got him over the top. So
yeah,
I just want to give a shout out to that intro song from Khan. My God, what an intro! That has to be one of the best entrances I've ever seen in my life.
All right, stop taking a piss. Yeah, but just to continue,
so the fighter entirely.
Sorry.
Good stuff.
Okay, so so the seats we ended up in were really good seats. The angle was good. Atmosphere, I thought it was big, but obviously Dan's been to other events. Like Dan said to me, that last McGregor event that he went to, the atmosphere was a lot better. Obviously, I can't compare to that, but I enjoyed myself. Afterwards, we went to get some food in a restaurant at the bottom of the MGM, and it was crazy, man. If you're a boxing fan, you definitely have to make Vegas once, because just as we sit down, Jose Sullivan and the members of the WBC are just sat at this long table. Freddie and Marvin come in, they take a seat, and then on another table over there, Andre Ward's having a meal. And just as we were leaving, we saw Lucas Matisse in the same restaurant in the corner, and Jose shouted out that phrase that he always shouts after a fight, and then he started laughing and he came over and took some pictures. Really nice guy. We went to this little club again in the MGM and we saw Lucas again, and we saw De La Hoya. That's when he looked a bit like he was on the downer after the drugs have worn off. But it's crazy. And then afterwards, Jose's wife wanted to go, get change his shoes and stuff into something more comfortable. We were in the lobby of their hotel. Roy Jones Jr. comes in, shakes my hand, and then Lim almost killed Harold Lederman by opening the door into his face, which was quite funny. He was trying to be nice and open the door for Mr. Lederman, but as Lederman kind of walked forward, he almost tripped and banged his face into the glass door. But Lederman,
did Harold Lederman say Lim?
Yo, Lederman was awesome, man. Like, he took like a good 5 minutes talking to us. He's giving his view on the fight. He said that he'd give Khan the first 2 rounds, and then we started talking about maybe Canelo and Golovkin and what his take was on it, and he thought like Golovkin stops Canelo. And he asked me where I was from. I said Manchester. He said, "Oh, I've been to Manchester. I judged the fight at the arena in Manchester, a Pat Barrett fight," and he remembered everything, man. And he was very nice. So props to Lederman. That was enjoyable. And yeah, Vegas. If you're a fan, definitely go during a big fight, because if you like getting pictures and selfies with boxers, active boxers, or legends of the sport, then Vegas is the place to be.
Did you see Ricky Hatton and Prince Naseem?
We saw Prince Naseem.
We saw Prince Naseem at a food court. He had enough balls to sample food from every single restaurant in the entire food court.
No, it was a
table of 8.
It was a big
all for
like
himself.
Prince Naseem lookalike. He looked very like him. I tried to convince Jose that it was actually him, so Jose went over to get a selfie.
So this guy, he got a bratwurst from Nathan's. He got a pizza from Sbarro's. He got a double entree at Express, and this is all his dinner, his nightcap.
Yeah, I could totally picture friggin' Jose being like, "Hey man, can I get a picture with you?"
Yeah, that was the idea. We wanted him to get bitch slapped by Prince Naseem.
All right, we got Jose.
Have Naseem run over his ass with his McLaren.
Yeah,
we got.
And I love Harold, but Harold looked a little bit old. What did you say, eh, Jose?
Oh yeah, hey guys, what's going on, man? Oh yeah. Poor Harold. I actually noticed how old he looked as well, man. Yeah, these guys. I had a couple of drinks on me. They tried to make me go shake this guy's hand and call him Prince Naseem, man. I may have either got a laugh or a punch. So good thing I didn't go. So.
Yeah, Jose, it was great to meet you, man.
Yeah, no, likewise, man. It was great to finally meet Cam and Nauta there at the event. It was awesome. Chills with Cam and
it was nice to meet you too, man.
Yeah, I figured. Dan confessed they're actually the same person, so that was cool.
Yep. I'm using this really fancy voice recorder, so I have another Skype set up downstairs, so that's how I'm able to pull this off.
No, it's definitely a great time. Like, I know I was just listening to you guys before, and it did lack a little bit of atmosphere for me, man. Like, to me, like, I mean, Vegas is a beautiful town, and I love it, but it's not quite the same when Mayweather's not in town, man. And I wish, people that have been there before know what it's like. Mayweather brings, like, the masses, and I think people, they love to hate him, and there's just a different energy in the stadium. Like, people are just on edge at all times, hoping that, he's just going to get caught, right? And I think I lacked a little bit of the atmosphere. I was hoping, I'd never seen a British fighter before, and I was hoping that I was going to see, like, and hear all the chants and, like, that little Christmas song they like to sing, so like the Winter Wonderland, whatever they spin it, and the way they say that. But
yeah, I
mean, it wasn't there, man. And I saw a bunch of, like, loyal Con fans that went there, but they were in small numbers, and I was kind of disappointed the UK didn't come and support them a little bit more, right? And I agree with that comment about when Con got knocked down. It was a hard knockdown. And I felt bad too, I felt extremely bad, because Khan's a boxer that I've liked to cheer on over the years, and to see somebody lose that badly is kind of hard on to stomach it. And you guys said it, right? As boxers, as boxing fans, that's what we love to see. And I just think it made me feel a little bit guilty that I enjoy that. You know, maybe I cringe so much because maybe deep down I actually liked it, and maybe that's why, you know, it kind of made me shake my head a bit because that was a bit too much, you know.
Yeah.
And the first reaction I immediately had was like, you know, at first I was worried, right, that he was okay, and then once he was fine, then I kind of got angry, and I'm like, well, you know what? Now I want to see fucking Canelo fight Triple G. You know, he's done this where he's fighting like smaller guys. Now step up to the plate and be a big boy, and put yourself. And I remember I had this discussion with Lim. Like, he disagrees with what what's it called, that coach said, right? I forgot his name.
Virgil Hunter.
Andre Ward's coach, right? Yeah, what Virgil said. Yeah, and I totally agree with Virgil. You know, maybe he was out of place, maybe whatever.
No, Jose. Let me just say one thing. Preface. I agree with what Virgil said 100%. I just don't agree with the timing. That's all.
But I agree with the timing. He had the platform. Like, sometimes you have to take advantage of the platform that you have.
That's true.
But that's not his role.
It's not his role, but you know what? It's what a percentage of boxing fans wanted to say. You know,
it's what a percentage of fighters want to say too.
Yeah, and what I don't agree with Canelo, and I like Canelo, I love Canelo, he's one of my favorite guys, but what I don't agree with is the bravado where he's like, you know what, no mames, like, you know, fuck you. You know what, you said the exact same thing last fight. I'll take off my gloves or I'll put on my gloves right now. Well, does it take you a year to put on your gloves? You know, when are you going to put on your gloves and fight him? Like, it's all good that you talk the talk, but when are you going to walk the walk? You know, so I mean, that what he said didn't impress me at all. You know.
Okay,
and,
can I play devil's advocate? And I actually don't even agree with this at all. You're right. I want to see Canelo Triple G next. No fucking excuses. I don't want to see a tune-up fight. I was actually talking to Cam yesterday that maybe Canelo would do better with a tune-up fight with Lemieux and then fight Triple G. No, but fuck that. I want to see a Triple G fight immediately. But I guess my counter to that would be, don't you think what Canelo did fighting Amir Khan rather than fighting Triple G is kind of like what Triple G wants to do fighting Floyd Mayweather? It's just an easy, big money payday. So he said, you know what, that can wait. I'm going to put you in the back burner. I'm going to have this easy fight, which is a complete mismatch. But hey, I'm going to make my money, and then I'll focus on you later. Isn't it the same thing with Triple G calling out Floyd Mayweather relentlessly?
Yeah, but I agree with him fighting Khan. I never said it was a bad fight. I was always entertained by the idea, and now I found out that it wasn't the case. It was a complete mismatch, and this is the second time already, so now he can't go back to the well again. Had it been a competitive fight and he pulled it off, it would have been different, but it wasn't competitive, and Triple G was there, and he talked the exact same thing he said last fight. So now, if he fights anybody else, even if he goes up and fights...
Sorry, Jose, sorry. Lim, we're getting a lot of mic noise off you, Lim.
Okay, I'll mute myself.
Sorry, go ahead, Jose.
Yeah, all I'm saying is, at this point, there's no other fight he can do unless it's Triple G, and I agree that this fight isn't at its potentially, it's not at its market peak, it's not commercially at its highest possible point, but tough shit. Like, you know, I don't think it'll get any better. I don't think the casual fans are going to adopt Triple G or Canelo more than they already are right now. It kind of is what it is. Like, these two guys are kind of like our fighters. They're hardcore and people that follow boxing. They're our fighters, right? So I mean, it's a total treat for the fans, and I think we deserve it, right? After what Mayweather and Pacquiao did to us, this fight's ours, and we should claim it and take it as soon as we can.
Jose, do you think that this was Amir Khan's biggest fight?
Oh, hell yeah, it was. Like on this level, you mean? Like everything?
Yeah, on this level, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it is, and I'm one of those guys that agrees with him not giving Brook the fight. And the reason why I think he shouldn't give Brook the fight is because it's the same reason why Mayweather and Pacquiao didn't give it to Khan. He didn't deserve it at that time. You know, he didn't deserve the fight, and he wasn't at that level. And I think Khan's at a superior level than Brook is. Maybe not as a boxer, but in popularity and in fame. And if he chooses to not give Brook that platform, maybe it's a little bit of a hater in him, but he doesn't have to.
Yeah, but I think that analogy falls short because Khan isn't anywhere near the stature of Mayweather and Pacquiao.
Algieri isn't a famous fighter.
No, he's not, but I don't think Khan... This is the thing. When it comes down to it, it's not about the money. I think it's Khan doesn't want to give Brook the opportunity to be the best boxer like in his time, in his country. You know,
But doesn't that make him a
pussy? It doesn't make him a pussy.
It's not under his control. It's really not under his control.
A vindictive motherfucker. You know, it makes him a mean motherfucker, and he just doesn't want to give it to him. And I mean, he's doing it out of principle. Maybe his principle is like, no, I'm not going to give you the opportunity to be the best boxer in our generation. You know, and I'm going to try to keep it to myself. Even if people argue with it and they dispute it, he's just not going to give him that ability to take it.
But isn't the very basic counter to that is if you're confident that you're the better fighter than him, then why not just prove it?
No, because he probably may not even be. And this is one thing I wanted to say too that I heard you guys say before. I don't think Khan's chin has finally been cracked. You know, he was wide open for that hit. It's not like he got hit with with the sneaking punch that got in there and just caught him, and we're all surprised he felt like a bag of bricks. He was wide open. Like,
that
wide
was a
open.
big punch too. That was a well-leveraged right hand.
Yeah, he could have got hit by anybody, man. Like, Algieri could have hit him with that punch, and he would have been knocked out cold. Like,
totally.
But you know what though? That's a completely fair point though, Jose. But I can make the case that's even more troublesome than him just having a completely fragile chin.
Exactly. That's even more dangerous.
Just an added element.
It's a flat
if you have a
defense.
bad chin. Yeah,
it's a flawed defense that he has, and the thing is, Kell Brook with much less power or equal power, I'm not sure because I haven't seen him fight anybody good. Like I don't know how hard he can hit, and if he catches Khan with that same punch, Khan's gonna fall down again. You know, he's gonna take that punch, and Brook's a big boy too, man. So
you know what I was thinking when, and I know you guys are gonna shit on me when I say this. I thought. It's almost as if Cam wanted to get hit with a shot like that. He was looking for a way out. I was like, if you've seen the first Star Wars film, like with Obi-Wan Kenobi, the bit where he kind of just stops fighting Darth Vader, he just kind of puts his lightsaber up and he just says, "Strike me down." And that's what I thought, because see, when you're that as a professional, he is like one of the best jabbers in boxing. Like I seen Paul Malignaggi say on Twitter that he's got one of the best jabs, top 3 jabs in boxing. No, he doesn't, because the fucking best jabber in boxing keeps his right hand next to his chin. And fucking Amir Khan for like 2.5 rounds had his right hand nowhere near his chin. And whether that's through tiredness or he was looking for a way out, I don't know. It must be kind of disheartening knowing that you could hit this guy with your best shot. Can't even move him.
I'll say this though, Khan was unraveling in that 6th round.
Yeah, it was.
He was really, really fucking up. You could tell he had so much nervous energy in that round. He was jittery. I think, was that the round or was the previous round where Canelo hit him with a shot and then he went back and then he jumped on both of his feet like he was doing like some kind of hopscotch routine.
Yeah,
like he jumped on both feet to move to the left. I mean, who does that?
And,
Jose,
you know, sorry, just one more point. I work at the moment, I'm a chef. I work for a job agency. So I'm like a temporary worker. If an organisation or a restaurant needs someone to come in, they phone me for bigger money.
You're like
really
a journeyman
of
at boxing.
I usually make. What's that?
You're like a journeyman.
Yeah, I'm a mercenary. And I could take a shit in the floor in the middle of service, and no one's going to give a fuck. I'm not going to be there tomorrow.
I think health and safety and like the food standard agency might give a fuck if you did that.
Yeah, but I'm getting paid like fucking £14 an hour, so you know I don't give a fuck. I'll never see that place again. And that's just what Can done in that fight. I thought it was like you're going up to a weight class that you're never going to fight in again, and it's just like easy money.
Yeah,
a mercenary.
Jose,
you don't think he wanted?
I like that now.
You don't think he wanted to win?
A mercenary.
What's that?
You don't think he wanted? You don't think Khan wanted to win?
I think at one point he just realised he couldn't win. And
yeah, I mean,
if you're going to take 12 rounds of punishment, that really would be the end of his career. Especially a guy like that, much bigger.
Yeah. No, I guess you're right there. One last question here before I jump off. I just wanted to ask you guys if like, and this is a huge if, I believe, but if Canelo were to beat Triple G, would that make Canelo like one of the best boxers in the last 20 years? You think?
No.
No.
But why not? His resume is amazing. He would
because Golovkin's resume is trash.
His resume is that.
His resume is not trash. Come on, bro.
You were just shitting on it last week.
On Canelo's resume?
Golovkin's.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Canelo.
No, I'm saying Golovkin's. Because, basically Canelo would be beating a guy that had a...
I understand. But it's kind of the same thing that applies to Kovalev. I think they both have pretty crap resumes, but it's obvious that they're both very, very good fighters.
No, I think Kovalev's is better, though. Significantly.
Who do you think is a better fighter?
Between who and who?
Kovalev and Golovkin.
I think Golovkin is more skilled, but Kovalev is a bigger man, so if they were to fight each other, I'd favor...
No, I understand that. The reason why I asked you that question was if a fighter beats either of those fighters, which of them... Which of the
Golovkin, I think, is more skilled from my eye test, but Kovalev has actually proven his skill against top opposition, as I've seen it. So I'd give Ward more credit for beating Kovalev than I'd give Canelo for beating Golovkin.
So basically Canelo's in a no-win situation then, right?
No. More people would give him more credit than I would. I'm being harsh, but I mean... Yeah, I mean, if he were to beat Golovkin, I mean, that'd be huge because most people don't think he can do it. The perception is that Golovkin will knock Canelo the fuck out, and that's really what matters in terms of if they make that fight. Because people will legit think that Canelo actually has a chance of losing. They won't think that, this is just going to be another guy, another showcase for Canelo to knock out, score a highlight reel KO, and if it goes with the scorecards, he's just going to win anyway.
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess. Hey, before I leave, one last thing I'm just going to say before I leave. Just so you guys know, and Cam is witness, and so is Dan. I went up to Lennox Lewis, and I said, hey, Lennox, we're from Canada. He's like, my boy, I'm Canadian, too. Fought as a Canadian, lived as a Canadian, die as a Canadian. That's what he said. And the best trainer in the world is also Canadian, just so you guys know. Lim and Cam will tell you guys. So take that as a badge of honor.
Did you record that? Did you record that?
Hey, Lim will tell you, man. Where's Freddie Roach from? You guys know he's actually Canadian. Hey, did you guys know that?
I didn't know that actually. Is he? I thought he was from Boston.
Is. No, he's Canadian. He told the boys. He let us know.
Just a small.
So there you go, boys.
Just a small asterisk, though, Jose. Like Lennox was out of it, so he would have said anything to anyone.
Fuck. All right, boys. Anyway, I better get going. It was an absolute pleasure meeting you guys. Hopefully, I'll be able to meet everybody else. And I mean, the best thing about boxing, guys, isn't always the 12 rounds or the 4 rounds or the 6 rounds, but it's the people you meet, it's the friends you make, and it's really like the memories you get to keep for later on. So So that's it. It's a great time, boys, and hopefully we'll see you guys again soon. Okay?
Definitely, Jose. Thank you, man.
Peace.
Leon, you salty bastard.
Casual. Sorry. What's that?
What's your thoughts on the fight, Leon?
On Khan?
Yep.
Or on the Sky undercard? I thought Khan looked good for four rounds. He looked really good. I thought Canelo looked horrible for 4 rounds. Genuinely wild, missing, swinging shots, stumbling around after him. He was poor for 4 rounds. And then he closed it. And then I don't know what did Khan gas or I think some of that body work kind of caught up to him because he started landing in that 4th round, didn't he, to the body. And then Khan I think he realised he couldn't win and he stopped throwing.
Kind of what Chewy said.
Yeah, and you've got to give him, you give him credit for making this fight because it caught us all off guard, which was refreshing. That doesn't often happen. He stepped up the divisions. He stepped up, fought the bigger man.
Well, why should we give him credit for off guard?
We can't have we can't have it all. So if you're saying we give him no credit, then Canelo's victory means nothing, right? I guess it doesn't mean that much anyway because he beat up a welterweight. So the whole thing was pointless then.
Kind of was.
Yeah. So he beat up another small man. He's fought how many people at his own weight? 1, 2 people at his real weight. I'm not that impressed with Canelo's resume. And I wasn't impressed with him on the night. But he you know, again, that little feint to the body and the overhand right was a thing of beauty. And his corner did tell him to do that. So you've got to give them some props. But it's a shame Khan couldn't get a good fight at his own real weight, and Canelo couldn't fight someone at his real weight. Because I think, you know, if he landed that shot on a Jacobs at middleweight, he would have knocked him out. But no one else, I don't think. I think Saunders takes it. I think Triple G takes it.
What, you think Saunders takes that shot that Khan?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Full-blown middleweight takes that shot.
I don't know about that, man. That was a big shot.
But we're talking about a man who was chinny at 140, Cam. I'm not being horrible, but this is a cold, hard truth of the matter, isn't it? You know, he's fighting a guy that you know, he's a small guy. So that's a big shot, but does a full-grown welterweight take. Maybe it drops him, but it doesn't spark him clean out. Okay. Yeah. That's what I think, you know. Right. But I still think Khan looked very good. He was landing on him for fun in those first 4 rounds, and he made Canelo think again when he landed in that first round. Canelo didn't go rushing in after it again for a couple of rounds.
But Leon, what about how awful he looked in the 5th and 6th rounds?
Yeah, he
utterly horrible.
Something went horribly wrong, but you know the fight is. However, and I know Cam, me and you were discussing over the weekend. I was excited about that fight when it was announced, but those 5th and 6th round made you realise that he shouldn't have been at that weight, and it was a physical mismatch that he had no chance of winning, really.
I agree about it. It was
a
mismatch.
I guess my question to you, though, is what clouded your judgment prior to the fight, then?
Prior to the fight, in terms
of the weight discrepancy, yeah. In terms of not fully recognizing the weight discrepancy prior.
Well, we all did recognize it. What we were kind of, I guess, excited and celebrating was the madness of it. It was almost like Khan's, like, oh, what the fuck are you doing? You know, that's what people were excited about.
I agree to that. I think a lot of people were just taken back by this fight that, you know, just sprung on us from out the blue. Like, I remember it was Chemo that texted me, and I think I went for lunch at work, and I looked at my phone. He's like, "Have you heard the news?" And I was like, "What news?" And everyone was talking about it, and like, it was just a big shock. And
but Cam, to me, that's a 10-minute fleeting emotion.
Well done. But
that it lasts for an hour, and then it hits you, and then you recognize what the fight truly is.
You're heartless, though. That's why.
No, I'm just saying it doesn't. I mean, for people to believe in that nonsense for 3 months.
Well, if we're going to have that attitude, we might, you know, and I like, you know, I've got my reputation for being not very, very generous to fights, but we've got to be allowed to enjoy these moments in some sense, you know. It's like,
I think Lim for your soul shaker, Lim. I mean,
I know, we just can't, yeah, exactly, but we can't be horribly cynical about it because it was a mad thing that happened, and you know, and I still think Oscar De La Hoya might have been saying some ludicrous shit in the build-up to this fight, but he got that fight past us all, and that's the most impressive thing about the fight.
Oscar probably didn't know about it.
yeah, Oscar.
Yeah, but that just shows you how. That just shows you how.
How what? Though?
But all I'm saying, but that hasn't happened in years, so we should be allowed to celebrate that. You know, look at me, all positive and happy.
What's going on, Leon? Where's the salt?
It's fucking coming. You wait until you talk about that Sky card.
All right, Chew, you're not seeing the message in the chat, but could you please do the roll call and the Coalition Prediction League Top 10, please?
Yeah, come on, man. Roll call, first of all. Bill Bones, 101. Joey D, 14. The Boxing Rhino, Basilius. Antonio Jose Sanchez. Casual Fan, Jesse Aguilar. Shams, 1000. BRD Hay, James Meyer. G Sui, Da A-Side, Wasif 1. Nota, Court Music, Marky Mark, TMT, The Boxing Coalition, Mr. Dermo, Jason 268, Nothing for Something, K3VLA, Overbruv, PM Versus, Nesmatic, Monaco 78, Pinhead 360, Lucana Crolla Z 334, KH Long Beach 516, D Segura and 10. Guess. Boxing Prediction League. It's going to get that bad boy right up right now. Is that a new season, Cam?
Yep, season started with the Khan fight basically that weekend. They had some cards from the undercard as well on the Friday. This Pablo Cesar Cano fight and a few others. But yeah, new season.
Who was the champion?
The champion was Sarah, aka Cesar. She whooped us all.
Is that like two coalition leagues in a row? Is that right?
No, that was her first win. But I think she ended top 10 the season before.
Oh, nice one. Yeah, it's just loading up right now. Okay, so number 1, Luke in LA. He got 302 points. Number 2, Mark 6, Silly Boxing. Number 3, Monaco. My boy Leon at number 4.
Come on, Leon.
Boxscarf 5, Hands of Stone Joint 5, Cloud Bottom 6, Inverness Mark at 7, Sarstar the defending champion 8, Cesar Christoph 9, and we'll get number 10 in. I need to go to the next page. Number 10 is James McMahon, number 1. And yeah, who gives a fuck about the rest of the non-top 10? Sorry, guys.
If you ain't in the 10, then no one cares. But props to everyone in the Prediction League this week. And obviously you've put the fights up for this upcoming week. There's quite a few in there. Not really big cards, but the second season always has a bit more fights because it goes into the summer. You know, the first season of the year, majority of January, there's not many fights to put in there. So there's always a bit lower predictions. But yep, definitely, if you don't know about the Prediction League, boxingcoalition.com, sign up with either email or Facebook or Twitter and just start making your predictions. Should we just quickly talk about a bit of the undercard before we move on to Manchester?
Sure.
Have you done an hour on Khan?
Yep.
Boy.
More than an hour, actually, yeah.
Can I go first then?
Go ahead.
Should we start with, I think the best performance was Lim's boy, wasn't it?
Frankie Gomez.
Yeah, I think so. He beat the living shit out of Herrera. And look, Herrera's a good fighter, but I think he fulfilled his out of the ring persona, has now come to the ring. Like the guy who likes to drink, who works on a building site. That's the guy who actually showed up this fight. I think he was shot. He looked to me, but Frankie still beat the shit out of him, and he looked good doing it. Great shot selection. I was very impressed.
Leon,
if he can hold it together, he's a player.
Leon, was it Herrera looking really bad, or Frankie looking good, really good, or a combination of both?
Combination of both, I think. But I mean, let's be honest. I mean, he was landing with him some crisp shots.
Some nice combinations, weren't they?
Yeah, but he was difficult to tie up, wasn't he? He had that kind of Floyd Mayweather forearm going on when Herrera got close to him. So,
and he never really lied on the ropes.
Well too.
Yeah, he never really lied on the ropes. Where Herrera, he kind of wants you push you back, get you in the ropes, and then he starts throwing those awkward shots from awkward angles. But Frankie wasn't really allowing him to do that. Anytime he would get him close on the ropes, Frankie would just tie him up, and Drakulic would step in, break him up, and then Frankie could get back on his combinations. I was impressed with Frankie.
Herrera's been robbed so much. This fight, he just left the front door open. Just take my shit.
He was up a weight as well, so maybe that really did affect him. How old is he now? 35, 36?
I think he's 36.
Yeah.
What's interesting, though, because I initially thought that it was Frankie, because he's had issue making weight, that would request the catch weight. But from what I was told, I heard it was Herrera that wanted the catch weight.
Was it not full 147?
It was 146 for some reason.
Oh, really? I thought they just weighed that. I think
Frankie looks good up. I think Frankie could stay there.
He should because You know, a lot of people are going to criticize. I mean, I was talking to Lukey earlier. He was saying that he looked a little bit fat, but hey, fucking Juan Diaz looked fatter when he was out at 135. So, I mean, you could still be a buzzsaw and be, a little chubby or whatever. And he looked good. He looked like, if he was to cut more weight, he might be pushing it. I mean, he looked fine to me as far as the way he looked on against Herrera. I mean, Herrera even looked like he was starting to warm up in the mid-rounds there, but he didn't even let him get any traction as he was warming up. Gomez just cleanly outboxed him the whole way.
Now, to how many good fighters have you seen over a year who look like that? Plenty.
Yeah.
Plenty. You don't have to be this ridiculous.
You don't have to be stupid lean. And the thing is, some guys, stupid lean, yeah, they might look good for pictures, but they might be really fucking unhealthy looking that way.
Kind of like David Lemieux looks, in my opinion. He looks a bit chubby, but he's not actually. Well, I think Gomez is actually chubby, if you know what I mean. But
yeah, I mean, he can probably lose a little bit and get a bit better shape, but he doesn't need to go crazy.
Even Lemieux, like he barely made 160. He missed weight the first time he weighed.
Yeah, totally. I mean, you don't have to be ripped to fuck and have like an 8-pack. I totally agree. But to be honest, he is on his last chance. I know he looked good in that fight, and it's good that he showed his talent in this fight, because if he didn't, then he probably wouldn't get a big fight again.
Yeah,
they'd probably feed him to Canelo.
Probably, yeah.
This fight was do or die for Frankie.
He could get Vargas.
But it's interesting though, because I read Freddie Roach is saying that he thinks that his first title will be at 140. And I agree with Naoto. I think he should just stay at 147, because if you're draining down and you're not having success, then why do it? If you're
yeah, I mean the thing is he was 153 fight night. That's fine. 6 pounds overnight or whatever. That's fine. That means he's comfy at the weight. He doesn't have to worry about it. All he has to worry about is his skills. And I mean he'll be at full strength. He won't be sapping anything.
But maybe Roach wants to get him down so they can bully some smaller guys, which but
that's what he does.
He don't need that weight advantage all the time, because he could give plenty of people good fights at this weight. Because if they get his head in the game, and he's obviously going to start training him a bit better, a couple more fights, he could take on a very, very good fighter in this division. I think he was the most impressive performance of the weekend, personally.
Like, I agree, Leon, but I wanted to ask how popular is he in the arena?
Well, I got a funny story. Like, Lim generally is quite, a quiet guy, but when the Frankie fight started, man, like Lim converted into someone else, man. He was one of those guys going, "Woo, come on, Frankie! Yeah, Frankie, yeah." I thought, what the fuck? This ain't Daniel Lim, man. He was possessed Daniel Lim. But he did have quite a fan base in the arena when he was fighting. He was quite impressed. I was quite impressed to see that.
I think that's bullshit, to be honest. I think the Mexican fans have got their priorities wrong. They're throwing stuff at Victor Ortiz, a guy who fucking has made weight every single time. Came in every single time. He's probably fought injured before in the past. Here's a guy who fucking... He doesn't just miss weight, he misses weight by fucking 2 weight classes in some fights.
No, that's fair. He does miss weight, but he doesn't quit.
Exactly. That's where the priorities are.
Yeah, I mean, I could argue that he quits.
He doesn't quit eating.
He quits when he's going. Yeah. He quits when he's going to the fridge. He's like, nah, fuck it, I need that chocolate.
You know what I mean? But I mean, like Leon said, his talent's there for everyone to see. It's just he's got these fucking foot demons that he needs to conquer, and if he does, then.
Well, it's not even the food as much as, I mean, he's been to jail a couple of times. He's been arrested for doing some activities, some Broner style, Crawford style activities. So that's a big part of it too.
I don't mind that. It's not as if it's fucking like. The guy's coming from like a rich neighborhood and shit.
No, but what I mean is like his head isn't all the way in the sport or it hasn't been in the past. I mean, it was for this fight, obviously, but.
Naoto, who do you think could be a good fight next for Frankie?
I mean, that's a tough one. I think there's a possibility. Well, there's a difference between realistic and unrealistic. I mean, honestly, I'd give him a good shot at either Garcia or the winner of Thurman versus Porter. I think Vargas and Brook are both harder fights for him, but I'd give him a shot at either of them too. I know Spence is supposed to, get the first dibs at Brook next though, and I doubt something like that would come off. But I mean, Jesse Vargas would be solid. I think that'd be an excellent fight, very interesting fight too. I mean, it'd be nice to see. It'd be interesting to see if his chin got tested. But I think Gomez, skill wise, well, I don't know. I mean, Vargas is actually pretty underrated in that regard. But I mean, I think that'd just be a good fight though. Him and Vargas, I think it'd be real solid.
Yeah, Leon or Chu, you got any people to suggest?
For Frankie, a welterweight he could fight Brandon Rios.
Well, look, I'm sorry to interrupt, but let me tell you who I think they're probably going to match him up next with. Matisse.
Lucas.
Lucas.
Oh, Chu, you would have loved Lucas, man. He was so happy.
Was Lucas there, was he?
Yeah, we saw him afterwards, and Jose and his wife got a picture, and I forgive him, man. I forgive him for quitting against Post Hall, man. I forgive him.
I bet you that's why he was there too. To watch Gomez.
Exactly, possibly. Let's move on to David Lemieux Tapia. I think most of us kind of got this prediction right. Tapia, man, he's the man of excuses. He was saying that he was weight drained at 54, and then after the fight he was saying, he felt a bit, heavy and a bit lethargic, and it's like, well, I don't really.
That's what happens when you get hit by a clean left hook. You feel a little bit heavy and lethargic. Yeah,
get took off your feet, but yeah, Lemieux did what you had to do, and I think Tapia should retire.
Well, the unfortunate thing is it looked like if he would have just lasted another round or two, he might have, done something in that fight, because Lemieux would look like he was gassing, and he was catching him with the overhand right. But, I mean...
What did you think of the corner stoppage? I thought they should have let it go on a bit.
Yeah, no, they should have, but the thing is, the guy that stopped it was the same guy that let it go on when Kirkland freaking took his whole soul away, so, I guess he was just really concerned and he didn't want to let it continue. I mean, they should have let it go on, because Tapia still had a chance. I mean, especially with Lemieux and his gas tank, he definitely still had a chance, but, so it was an anticlimax, really.
To me, Tapia looks like a guy who's too top heavy in the upper body. It's like he's got all his weight in the upper half of his body, and he's got no weight in his legs. So when he takes a shot, he reacts bad to it because he's got no physical resistance. And in this fight, he had no mental resistance. It's like he wasn't putting up any kind of fight at all. And I think that's maybe what Roach is getting at. He's like, okay, it's one thing to take a beating, but it's how you take a beating. Like, are you going to punch back? I didn't see that from Tapia. I can't really recall anything he was landing. I seen David Lemieux outfought him, and the other sense of outfought, he outfought him with an F and he outfought him with a TH, and he outboxed him. And like, if you get fucking outbrawled by David Lemieux, that's something. But if you're getting outboxed by him, then, especially when you've got every kind of physical advantage in terms of height, length, reach, trainer. And that to me signals that he should retire.
Yeah.
Because this going up in weight is meant to help you out in terms of everything, just like punch resistance, punch output. But I didn't see that. If anything, I seen a deterioration, and he doesn't react well to like a middleweight puncher. He didn't react well to like a light middleweight puncher, never mind a middleweight puncher. So I think it's time for him to retire. No shame. We had a good run. Time to go.
Yep. Leon, any thoughts? I think Leon. He says he's back, but he's not answering. So let's move on. Well, I'll ask you,
Stevens.
No, yeah, quickly. Stevens. We missed it in the arena because we got there a bit late, but when I looked at...
I remember texting you guys, or, on the WhatsApp, saying, like, you guys missed Stevens blasting Teixeira out of that.
Yeah, what's interesting about the Teixeira fight is I looked at the guy's record, and he's Brazilian, and he kind of fought at home a lot, and I thought, has Stevens turned into like a gatekeeper now? And I didn't really have time to watch any of the fights, and I was just going to make a blind pick on Teixeira in the prediction league, but I thought, no, I better just fucking check, because Stevens always has the equalizer. So I've watched about 2 minutes of Teixeira on YouTube, and I instantly knew this guy's getting knocked out. Seriously. But yeah, it was quick, and it was quite brutal, but
I don't know what the hell Golden Boy was thinking. Because, I mean, yeah, just everything that you said. Stevens rocked him with a jab, and then, the first clean right hand he landed, Teixeira was out of there. He was out of there, man.
I actually think they were just wanting Stevens to look good to set up the Lemieux fight, because I can see Stevens versus Lemieux the next fight.
I'm down for that. That guy was a bum, man.
He was.
I'd love that fight. The only thing is Teixeira was a Golden Boy fighter. Stevens isn't. So, I mean, they clearly thought that Teixeira was going to do something. Even Lampley on the commentary was saying that, this was a one-time thing, and Teixeira was going to go down to 154 after the fight.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, because they signed like a couple Brazilians, didn't they?
Yep.
They signed him.
They I was going to say that's
a
bad.
joke.
Yeah, that's bad. That's bad promotion. That signing that dude.
Maybe they're trying to start a football team, man.
11 Brazilians.
You shouldn't waste
The Golden Boys.
waste your time on this fight, man.
All right, just Leon, you were off before when I asked you about Lemieux Tapia.
Another joke fight. Someone hates Tapia.
Tapia retire.
God.
Someone hates him there, man. That's terrible, man. To do that to someone. Just force him up there after he took a whooping in his last fight. I know, Gartham fight a weight above against one of the biggest punchers in the division. You'll be alright.
Yeah.
That was shocking, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. And we all predicted that, like when the fight got announced. We all said decapitation, so. Alright, quickly, Naota, I was speaking to Black Ski Mask Joe earlier, and he said that the Diego De La Fire fight was quite entertaining. Did you see that?
Yeah. Matter of fact, I'll link you guys to it if you want because HBO actually put it up a few hours ago. Solid fight. I mean, another solid performance from Diego. I think he's Golden Boy's best prospect by far. Better than Jojo Diaz, better than all these other featherweights that they've been showing on, Estrella and Ring TV Live and all that stuff. He's got the name and everything. And honestly, I think they're just kind of biding their time with him, trying to get him some rounds. Because really, I think there's no reason to level him off the way that they've been doing the last year plus. They've kind of kept his competition at a specific level. They haven't really gotten above. They were stepping him up, and now they kind of leveled him off to a certain degree.
Yep.
But I think he's ready for a title shot whenever they want to give it to him, because the talent is there, the punching power is there, the athleticism is there. He's just an all-around damn good fighter. He'll live up to the name once they decide to put him there. And at that point, and I think they're kind of biding their time too, because they have time to bide, because Canelo's still such a huge star. They don't necessarily need a second one at the moment. When his time comes and when they're ready to step him up, I think he'll shine, and he'll make Golden Boy even more profitable. So.
Yep. Thank you, Naota. Let's move on then to the Manchester card. We've burnt quite a bit of time in the States, and I don't really want to have a too longish show, just in case we had technical issues. Chu or Leon or Naota, whoever wants to start first. Crolla, my boy, versus Barroso, my southpaw brethren, and again.
Just a second, your boy. Was he your boy?
Well, I was gonna say the second time I've picked against Crolla. Like, I wanted him to win, but I just thought, I thought Barroso might break him down a bit, and I was very wrong again, and I feel ashamed for not picking Crolla.
Yep, shocking, Cam.
Yeah, don't just review me not picking Crolla. Review the fight.
I think
the good old Joe Gallagher tactic: do nothing for a while.
Well, exactly. It's the same thing he uses all the time.
It worked like a gem, though.
This guy was made for that tactic.
Barroso was stupid, man. He should have just paced himself a bit.
Well, he didn't know what he was doing because he's only ever gone like 4 rounds. I mean, as soon I picked Crolla because I had a feeling it would happen, just because Barroso knocked out the ghost of Kevin Mitchell, and he's my boy, but he was shot to shit in that fight, and that's his best win.
That's fair.
So to say he's the most dangerous fighter in the division has to be a nonsense.
Well, and seeing the big problem too is the fact that he really, like you had said, he hadn't gone more than a few rounds. He's used to just blasting guys out, so he went in there trying to do his usual tactic, and he didn't have any gas after it didn't work. Go
on. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say. I mean, if Cam will allow me later to get to it, I'll talk about that with Inoue too. But I mean, with Barroso, just, it didn't work, and then Crolla, he still had his gas tank. He's one of those guys. It's one of those things where if you punch yourself out and the other guy is getting, at least rocked a little bit, but not really badly, and he's still there after you're punched out, you're so tired that even punches that wouldn't have otherwise hurt you before are gonna lay you all over the damn ring, and that's pretty much what Crolla started to do.
Exactly.
I mean, he started knocking him all over the ring in that last.
Yeah, Crolla looked like a beast at the end of that fight.
But and to be fair to Crolla, he did stand in the middle of the ring with him and take it to him and took his best shots and was very defensively sound and knew what was coming, and and he stepped in there and he did it. It's a good win. I mean, I think Eddie Hearn's talking crazy if he's now saying he's definitely the best fighter in the division. The 2 guys he's fought in his world title shots are not grade A quality.
Who would he have to beat for you to say he's probably one of the best at 135?
Oh no, he's in the top 4 or 5.
Who's above him? Who's above Crolla at the moment?
Barthelemy.
Linares.
Is Flanagan above him or at the same level?
Flanagan's above him. Because the Magdaleno win is a better win than these 2. On resume.
I think the Magdaleno win's like an equal win.
But we're talking about an untested fighter in Barroso.
No, that's fair.
Really.
That's unfair.
Magdaleno had lost before, though, too.
Yeah, but Barroso done really genuinely. Who had he fought? Be honest.
Yeah,
I mean,
true.
I'm not going to discredit Crolla because he's worked hard and he's done very, very well to get where he is. But Eddie Hearn screaming in the camera, he's number 1 in the division. Whatever I say, he must have been on the marching powder before he went out to do that interview because he was all fired up crazy. Cam, have you seen it?
No, I didn't see that. But I was interested that
have a fucking seizure, man.
It was interesting that Sky and Hearn managed to pick up Michael Buffer while Canelo and Khan are fighting in Vegas.
Well, they're spending all their money on the fucking ring announcers, not the fucking undercard. I can tell you that much.
and not the opponents.
No, but and I think Nelson's right. No one wants to talk about Bartholomew. No one. That name doesn't get mentioned by anyone, does it? Flanagan doesn't mention him. Linares doesn't mention him. And then there's our boy Slater Cannon as well.
Yeah, I hate Bartholomew, man.
He ain't gonna gas.
Bartholomew's effective, but I hate watching him fight. He's like he's got that drunken style where he kind of rocks side to side, and I just hate that style.
But you can't just say your boy Crolla's better than him.
I'm not saying that.
Nowhere,
no, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
Yeah, I'm just saying, can't you just be like your guy's one of the best? Just move on, start ranting and screaming in the fucking camera like a lunatic.
Well, that's him for you. And even the commentary man hauling like retard. He's become a superstar tonight.
Oh, it was pathetic. He went triple retard Hearn though. He must have.
You're gonna have to send me the link so I can see it.
It must have been about an inch wide and a foot long. That bad boy before he must have taken before he went out.
Before he sniffed it.
Oh, he was smashing it back there. The Salem brothers must have not been in Germany, allegedly. But yeah, but it's a good win, right? So I'm going to be positive.
Yep.
Good win.
I'm liking his positivity, Leon. I'm liking it.
Yeah, I'm not about to be.
Chu, your thoughts on Barroso and Crolla?
Yeah. Crolla does a lot of smart stuff, He just, whenever Barroso would finish with his flurry, he would sneak a body shot in there, just at the right time, the right place. and it was kind of slowly chipping away at Barroso, and I think Barroso's gas tank is shocking. How could I've watched the fight twice now, and the first time I was watching it, Jim Watt was saying that, Crolla's taking these shots to the forehead. He needs to be careful because, for whatever reason, and I was just thinking that Barroso's not landing anything, and it was inevitable that he was going to gas out because his demeanour. He was there for 4 rounds only, and they didn't have a plan B. He clearly didn't respect Crolla in that sense. So I don't know what it is with these guys who come from that area. Mayorga had a kind of similar thing going on where he's like a 4-round fighter, and I thought that's what Barroso was as well. And I'm not that impressed by Barroso because really you didn't really know how good he was until he fought a guy who wasn't shot. Like Leon's saying, Kevin Mitchell was shot, but Crolla wasn't. But you need to give Crolla credit. He's just got a really smart boxing IQ. You can tell that he's very selective with the punches he throws. His body shots are awesome. Must be a Manchester thing. And you need to give praise to Joe Gallagher. Because the tactics were spot on. I mean, I think a lot of people would get intimidated by the volume, if not the accuracy of Barroso. But Crolla just stood his ground.
But are the tactics spot on if it's just the same tactics for the same fight for all your fighters for every single fight? That's just a numbers game, isn't it?
I think some fighters can pull it off better than others, and I think Crolla's got the defence
to deal with it. You're right, yeah. And to be fair,
a guy like Scott Quigg isn't.
He was throwing where Quigg didn't throw anything for those first 6 rounds. I think Crolla is, he's the guy I like there. I think he's the most popular fighter in that camp, wouldn't you say?
Yep.
Yeah, and like I heard, I want to give the guy his full credit for whoever said this on Twitter. I can't remember his name, but Crolla after the fight said that you can't come to my house and take what I've got. What about your neighbour's house?
Who said that? I'm sorry. Yeah.
I don't know who said it. It wasn't me. I need to give the guy the full credit, but I thought I was fucking genius. But I think Flanagan beats Crolla. I think Crolla would beat Ricky Burns. But you've got a kind of unique situation where you could have 3 British world champions.
I think
in the same
Crolla, I think Crolla,
weight, isn't he?
I think Crolla Flanagan is like 50-50. I think that's.
I disagree. I think Flanagan is the slight.
He's big as well.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
And he's not going to gas on you, and that's my problem, because when it comes to it, Gallagher fighters need their man to gas.
That first Dallas Perez fight was shit as well, man.
Yeah.
Alright, let's move on. Leon, you said that the salt was coming. Was that regarding the undercard or something else I'm not aware of? Or?
Well, firstly, no, it's fully... It was the Hearn complete overreaction to the Crolla win was one thing, but the standard of this undercard, Cam, I shit you not, it was a fucking joke. It was offensively bad. Tommy Coyle was in a 6-rounder and he was the supporting fight.
Fuck.
And he went 6 rounds with a bum. And everyone else fought a line of bums.
And also, they had that weird period where they've gone over to Germany, so there's nothing happening in Manchester because they were showing the Pulev-Chisora fight.
Which was horrible, and yet again proves my point that the heavyweight division is a sack of shit. Fucking can't stand heavyweight fights.
You know what though, Pulev did okay, I thought.
Bums.
Pulev was alright, man. He's got a good jab, but Derek was
Right.
shit.
Derek
How one
was
judge
shit
gave him
fight, man.
the fight, I do not understand.
You couldn't pay me to watch.
Repping
You'd
the
have
flag.
to pay. But Martin Murray beat up a welterweight at super middleweight. The guy would fought that low down within the last couple of years.
Why was he fighting if he's got a fight lined up with Groves?
But why does Eddie Hearn think it's necessary to put on these supposed names against absolute trash, where they were openly admitting it's not about the opponent tonight? Well, then what the fuck's it about?
I think he just does it to fill the seats.
But what happened to the? We used to get good fights, kind of like the Good Johns versus a Nurse or a Ryan, Hibbert Ryan. It doesn't cost a lot of money to put on a British level fight of some standard.
Fight. Yeah.
Competitive fight, a British belt, an area Southern belt. These were nothing fights. They were exhibition fights, Cam.
Yep.
It was even you could feel even what was struggling. Like in that Murray fight, they were struggling.
Yeah, totally. They had a lot of 6-rounders. Even that Tommy Coyle fight, and that's like it was at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, and you're expecting something a bit more substantial than a 6-rounder, or
Let's
like
go through
Murray.
this.
Yeah.
It was. I don't think there was only 2 12-rounders on the whole card, and it was like 5 hours of boxing.
Was the Hosea Burton fight a 12-rounder?
No, because why is he fighting that fight as well? Completely unnecessary.
Unnecessary, but you know what it is once Hearn's got like a boxer from a certain city, then he almost becomes like a Coleman or like high on the undercard because he thinks that the seats are going to get filled, and plus he's a Gallagher fighter as well.
Yeah, I understand, but it was not good enough. It was and they were just saying, it's because we want to pay Crolla all the money. Well, how about this? Don't. And the people who were buying tickets, who were poor mugs who bought tickets to go and see that thing. If you were a boxing fan and more than just a Crolla fan, you were violated by that card. Violated.
You were financially raped.
You were. I would rather. This is what I would rather someone mugged me in the street for £50 than I had gone to that card.
Shit.
Probably would have been more action as well.
Exactly.
Leon would have headbutted him, so.
But look, here we go. So Marcus Morrison was on first, up against. I mean, honestly, this guy was a stumbling drunk.
Mark Morrison, the singer, Return of the Mac.
Marcus Morrison, Return of that one. He was first up. He blew his guy out in there in 2 rounds. Then there was a area level fight, which was supposedly the best fight on the card, but I'd given up watching at this point. That went 8 of the 10 rounds. Everything else was an 8-rounder, 6-rounder, Paul Smith in a 6-rounder. Pointless.
Paul Smith was on the undercard.
No, he fought at 5 o'clock in front of a fucking janitor and the person pouring out the popcorn.
Shit.
Fucking pointless. I mean, if anyone's seen the Eiffel London interview, he's on one. But it was just, we pay a lot of money for this, Cam.
Yep.
I pay a lot of money a month to get served this shit. This is the worst. I think it's the worst card he's put on this year, and maybe last year.
And
he doesn't care anymore. He doesn't care. He doesn't even go. He used to say, I put on fights for casuals, but I always put on some good trade fights or some good scraps for the hardcore. He doesn't give a shit about us. The people who care about this sport on any level, he couldn't give a fuck about us.
Yep. All right, let's move on. Did anyone catch that Chisora Pulev fight? My quick opinion. I thought Pulev was okay. He was tying Chisora up anytime Chisora was getting close, but Chisora looked in good shape as well. When he was still with Warren, he got a bit fat again after the Fury fight, the second Fury fight, but it seemed like he was in good shape. It's just Pulev, man, he was just catching him with the right hand so much. and Derek was just telegraphing his right hand so much. He was just trying to look for the overhand right, and all Pulev was doing is just a little step back, and Derek just missing wildly, or he'd go to throw his punch and just pull it because he knew that Pulev stepped back. Just basics, man. It's like set up with a jab or do a double step and get close. Don't just throw it from that far. But Derek was very disappointing. How a judge gave it to Derek, I do not know. That's my opinion. Anyone else?
I watched the first 3 rounds and wanted to run a warm bath, and then I just put it times 30, and if anyone got knocked down, I was going to stop it.
Yep. One of those fights. Chew, do you see it?
Yeah, I was
wait.
just. I tried to watch it, but I couldn't.
Naota, you didn't watch that
It's
crap,
just
did you,
really
Naota?
fucking bored
What was that?
in the ring.
Did you watch that fight?
Oh, Pulev Chisora? Yeah.
What did you think?
I mean, my stream was kind of choppy, but from what I saw, I mean, just a clean victory for Pulev, or, I mean, I guess you call it, I mean, clear victory anyway, but not clean. I mean, it was a pretty sloppy fight. I don't know. I never really thought much of either of them. I was really watching that broadcast more for the Crolla versus Barroso fight. So, I mean, seeing Chisora try to freaking wing shots at the guy was just kind of a fun diversion. It's always fun to watch Chisora, but, I mean, Pulev ain't going to do nothing.
It's so funny how that fight turned into some type of eliminator for Joshua as well. They were so trying to line Chisora versus Joshua up. I knew he wasn't going to get past Pulev.
He knocks them both out.
Yep, totally agree. Naota, you want some time for Inoue?
Yeah. Now Inoue went the full distance this time. This is only the second time in his career that he's done it. He's 10-0 with 8 knockouts now.
Naota, is it true that his hand went again? That's why?
That's what they were saying, but the thing is, he was throwing with both hands, full leverage, the whole fight from what I saw. Although, I mean, he did throw a lot of jabs in this fight too. So, I mean, it's possible that he may have hurt the right hand and he just had a poker face about it and didn't really show it so much. Because he eventually didn't really hurt him bad and almost knocked Carmona out until the last round. He was trying real hard for the knockout in the last round. But, I mean, he can't. The thing that I liked about him, like I mentioned with Barroso earlier, is he came out the first round looking to knock Carmona's head off. Because, like, he basically went out there looking to chin check this guy. Because Carmona had drawn against the last guy that Inoue fought, Parenas. The two of them got into a draw. And Inoue knocked Parenas out in 2. So he was probably figuring, well, shit, I knocked that guy out in 2. I'm going to take this guy out just as quick. And, he knocked out Narvaez in 2, too. So he went in there looking for the knockout. He didn't get it the first round, so in the second round he went right to boxing. He just started setting it up, got his skills in order. And, I mean, the thing is, Carmona just gave him some difficulty. Carmona was able to jab with him, kept a high guard, good defense, and he was able to move around a little bit and do some, stick and move run type stuff and avoid Inoue from doing consistent damage to stop him or anything. So, I mean, he gave him good experience. I mean, this is the type of experience I think a fighter like Inoue really needs, because in spite of the fact that he's just this dynamo that came in, won 2 weight class titles in 8 fights, it's one thing to do that, but it's also another thing to actually get experience in later rounds against skilled opponents, because if he was to step up against Gonzalez or Estrada or somebody like that, even though they're the ones moving up in weight, it's still a step up for him in terms of level of ability. And so, like, guys like them that can keep a consistent pace and keep technical proficiency through the 10th, the 11th, the 12th round are going to be a lot more difficult unless he has that experience behind him in order to keep up that proficiency himself. So, I mean, he's not just going to blast out guys like that. He may blast out a lot of these lower-level guys or guys that just can't take his punch. But, I mean, he's got the skills to back it up, and he at least went some rounds here against Carmona. If his hand is injured again, that could be problematic because, I mean, it kept him out for a whole year back after the Narvaez fight. But it looked fine against Parenas, and it overall looked pretty okay against Carmona. And the thing is, Inoue now, his promoter Ohashi, is planning on having the rematch with Narvaez in the United States. So we'll probably be seeing Inoue on, whether it's HBO, PBC, whatever. We'll probably be seeing him stateside pretty soon, which is pretty cool.
What's the thoughts behind that rematch? Like, is it necessary?
It's contractual.
Oh, okay.
It was in order to get the shot at Narvaez in the first place.
There was a rematch clause.
Yeah, because he wasn't a mandatory. Because Inoue actually, he was a world champion at 108. He just jumped over 2 weight classes to fight Narvaez and yeah, he had to have the rematch clause in order to get that fight in the first place. So
And quickly, just while we're still anyway, is this hand problem a recurring issue?
It started with Narvaez.
Okay.
It started in that fight. He broke his right hand when he knocked Narvaez out in 2. I mean, it's kind of funny to say that, but yeah, that's basically what happened. So I don't know how bad the injury is, though. I mean, they were just saying that it happened afterwards. To me, I thought it might have just been them trying to excuse him not knocking Carmona out, and it's entirely possible, especially because they're still talking about having the Narvaez fight later this year. So
Right.
if even if it is hurt, it's probably just bruised or something. It's probably not like a break where he'd have to get surgery on it again.
Yep. Anything else, Naoto?
No, I mean, the Yagashi had a good fight against Martin Tekaput. Solid fight, got a split decision, and Yagashi's probably going to be jumping to 115 also fairly soon. So 115 is about to be hot. I mean, because Paul Butler's trying to become the mandatory for Inoue. If he beats Petchbongborn, he'll be the mandatory for Inoue. So y'all may see Naoya over in the UK sometime soon, and then Kal Yafai is trying to get a shot at Koi Kono. So you guys may get that one too.
Yeah, that'd be a good fight, I think.
Yeah,
And,
Yafai Kono is especially a good fight. That's probably the best fight for him to try and get a title.
Yep.
And then if Yafai wins that fight and Estrada wins the potential fight that he might have against Concepcion, then Estrada and Yafai will be the mandatories for each other.
Yep. All right. Thank you, Naoto. Guys, just quickly, we need to just go back a week. We obviously didn't have a show last week. We need to cover some of the fights that happened on the Saturday. We'll start off with the Gale and Porky. Quickly, my opinion. Again, this is drive-by mode, so let's not drag it out.
Yeah.
The Gale's so frustrating to watch. Takes so much time off in rounds. It reminded me of some of those Channel 5 fights when he was going on, that he had that Gilmore groin injury where he would just lay against the ropes and try and use head movement. But the thing is, he gets caught so much in between. It kind of looks embarrassing. I thought De Gale just nicked it. I didn't think Porky won. I could see a draw in there. I could see people picking Porky as well, just off activity. I usually do pick the guy that's a bit more active, but I just thought De Gale's work was a lot cleaner than Porky's.
I scored it a draw.
Yeah, that's fair. And I don't think De Gale was getting hit as much. He was later on when he was lying on the ropes, but a lot of his stuff was getting blocked by elbows and arms, and that's my opinion.
How about Medina whooped De Gale's ass and got robbed?
He's ready to be whooped, man.
He's ready to be whooped.
Again, I think underlying my point about his division, Wasteland.
Chew, do you see it? I don't know. Chew might have stepped out.
It's killed Chew.
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry. I saw the fight. I definitely had it for De Gale. I wasn't really kind of scoring each round, but just judging by the one time I saw it, I definitely had De Gale winning. I don't really see how you could score the fight for Medina. Medina looked strong as fuck. But yeah, I wasn't really particularly impressed. I wasn't particularly impressed by either fighter, to be honest. That said, I think De Gale is kind of just buying time. It's clear he wants the Badou Jack fight next, and just have it next. You know, stop with this fucking we're going to fight in the same card kind of shit. Just stop it. Just get on with it.
Do you think his ego's
I think
hurt?
that's the plan.
Do you think his ego's hurt a bit? Because, you know, like, it's like he's gone over to the States to kind of get fame, get money and all that. And the way, like, people are booing him afterwards, it looks like it took a dent in the ego department.
Yeah, well, I mean, making excuses and, you know, trying to say that he was on drugs and saying that, like, oh, I have tropical skin, that's why my face is all like this. Or, like, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah. That was funny.
And the thing is, Medina's best work wasn't even to his face; it was to his body, and his face still got fucked up, looking like uncooked ground beef.
Yeah, my tweet about him, like, basically saying Porky was on PEDs got, like, so many likes. I think people are thinking the same thing, man. I didn't like that comment, to be honest.
Yeah, just an excuse for making fights.
Yeah.
Just get on with the Badou Jack fight, and then we get over it, because I don't care.
I think Jack's going to beat him.
Don't care.
Let's transition to the Jack Butte fight, though. I had Jack clearly winning. Again, I didn't score it, but just off the eye test, I don't know how that was a draw, to be honest. He did slow down. He did slow down, like midway through the fight, but I think his work was a lot more. I thought his jab was excellent, to be honest.
Yeah, he looked good.
Good body work.
Won 8-4, but I don't give a shit. If you're going to rob anyone, any of that scum that aligned himself with Floyd Mayweather, rob them all. Rob them all, you morally bankrupt scum.
You hear that, Mark?
If you put your name, you TMT yourself, you co-sign that shit. And for all the women, I fucking apologise for them. Vile scum. There's a salt for you, Cam.
I knew it would eventually arrive.
Assault.
Yeah.
Assault. That's assault. Go on, Chew, man. Always with the one-liners.
That's for Brian as well. Brian. Hi, Brian.
Chew, your thoughts on Jack Butte?
Like you, Cam, I definitely had it for Jack. Butte warms up to a fight. He does kind of, I don't know, he does a lot of kind of jabs, which is just kind of pity patter. And then if his chin doesn't feel, he does gradually build into a fight. But I definitely had Jack winning. I wasn't really a kind of interesting fight. It's funny. Like a lot of boxing fans are giving PBC a lot of praise nowadays. I've noticed that in podcasts as well about the competitiveness of the fights, and you do have to give them credit. Although I don't know whether it's luck. I honestly don't think many boxing fans thought that Jack Butte and Medina de Gale were going to be as competitive as what they were.
Nobody did. Most people were picking blowouts. Both.
Yeah, exactly, and that happens a lot with PBC. Obviously, here, it's happened so much that you can't say it's a coincidence. You've got to give credit to them. It must be their matchmaker. Yeah. And I've shat on PBC a lot, but they've got to get some praise going, because out of all the fucking things in boxing you watch the British Eddie Hearn cards, the Frank Warren cards, the HBO Top Rank cards, the Golden Boy cards. The PBCs at the moment, their cards are probably the ones with the most competitive fights.
Well, and the great thing too is they're willing to make rematches to those. They made the Commodore McDonald rematch, and they just made Piano Warren too.
Yeah, and apparently they're in financial trouble as well. So it's a shame, because I do think it's starting to warm up a wee bit. But by the time it really gets to a stage where, this is like stage 2. But
maybe that forces them to heat it up more so, though.
It's on them. They let their fighters get away with a load of soft touches, overpaid nonsense for the first year. So it's their own fucking fault.
Yep. Let's keep it moving on. Let's go over to StubHub on the same day. Berto Ortiz, my thoughts, Ortiz quit again. I know some people said he was hurt, but I thought he was just putting it on. I thought he was clearly heard what Jack Reese was saying, and he just pretended like he was out of it. Your thoughts? It was cooking up to be a good fight as well, especially after Berto went a bit square and got dropped. I don't think really Berto was that hurt. It's just that his feet were square, got caught off balance a bit, dropped, and it was lining up to be a good fight. The shot that he caught Ortiz with that dropped him as well, that was a beautiful shot. And I thought it was going to be another classic like that first one, but Ortiz quit.
Rock me like a hurricane. That was the best thing about that fight.
That's what he thought the ref was saying to him.
Yeah. It was a good fight. The whole card was good. People were getting blasted out of their left, right, and centre. So it was another very good card. So yes.
Yeah. Who was the only one that didn't get a knockout? Leon, what weight class?
What was it?
Heavyweights.
Chambers versus Washington.
Oh, Chambers.
Washington was gassing after like 4 rounds, man. His mouth was like wide open.
And Eddie did nothing. But the fight I enjoyed was it light heavy with that guy for
Edwin Rodriguez versus
Edwin Rodriguez and Thomas
Williams Jr.
I picked that right as well.
Yo, they had no they had no sense of the sweet science, man. They were just going in there, bombs away.
Yeah, that was
It's funny as well when Rodriguez gets caught with a big shot, his body just turns to jelly, man.
It's like he gets electrocuted. It's like you tased his ass.
Yeah, but that was fun to watch.
If that kid, it's difficult to know if that guy was any good, really, because he was so poor.
Well, Williams Jr., I always remember him for when he fought Campillo on Friday Night Fights, and he was doing well until he got cut, and then just turned to shit.
You know, his soul escaped through his cut.
Exactly.
Well, yeah.
Best performance on that card though, Jorge Lara.
You were going to say that, and I was impressed.
He beat the living shit out of that.
But Naoto, don't you think he kind of rushed his work a bit?
To a degree, but he still did the job. I mean, he still got it done.
Yeah, he looked like he was like just smothering himself a lot of the times. I wish he would have took it easy, but yeah, he did just blitz Montiel out of it.
Yeah. I mean, he went in there with a purpose. He was saying, "Here I am, like here I'm in a big TV fight. I'm a featherweight contender. Watch the fuck out, because I'm coming for that ass." That's what he was saying in there. He went in there and blasted Montiel. Laid him face first, almost knocked him out of the ring face first.
Yeah.
Makes Shelby look bad.
Don't play with your food.
I totally agree with you. That's the first thing I thought when I saw Montiel stretched out. I thought, you know what, Selby looked bad against Montiel. But you got any other thoughts about the undercard, too? That Rodriguez fight?
No, not particularly. I didn't really see it, so.
David Benavidez looked really good too against his opponent.
Yeah,
he's better than his brother.
I can't remember who I was talking to, and they were talking about the Benavidez fight. But yeah, he looked impressive as well. The knockout was kind of cold as well, with the guy laying face first on the canvas as well.
Yeah, man. That's the great thing about that card. It's just knockouts all over the place, like highlight reel shit.
No, it was. We talked the week before, and we said, it's a really good card, and it really lived up to it as well.
Yeah, it more than lived up to it. I mean, it was like it went so fast. Like the Chambers Washington card fight wasn't even supposed to be on TV. It wound up on there just because everybody was getting knocked out.
Yep. Did that end up being last, or did it kind of get shown after the main event? How did they work that out?
It got shown after the main, because it was Lara Montiel that was scheduled, then Rodriguez Williams that was scheduled, and then they tossed in David Benavidez as the swing bout, and then Berto Ortiz, was fast, so then they tossed in Chambers Washington at the end. And
that slowed everything down.
Yep. But then again, it kind of bled into the Showtime card, so by that point, everybody was ready to switch over.
It seemed like bad timekeeping, because the sun was so low at the StubHub during the main event. Like I saw so many people with their hands up because they couldn't see into the ring just because of the angle of the sun. PBC need to stop stepping on their own feet, because why are you having two different cards and two different venues across the states at almost similar times, where you're kind of stepping, overlapping on both shows? I find that very strange.
Yeah, I mean, that's the trouble with doing that. I mean, if anything, it's like the East Coast card should have been first.
Exactly.
So that it wouldn't have been so damn sunny out, and then the West Coast card, at least, let things get a little bit dark before the fighters get in there, But,
exactly.
Yeah.
Quickly on the Friday, the Durrell sisters were in play. Truax got blitzed by Anthony, and I thought the Andre Durrell, the Capoeira fight was fucking horrible, man.
Yeah, it was bad.
Really bad to watch, and then Durrell's going on at the end like, I want my rematch. I'm going to film this Instagram video while you're interviewing me, and so I can post it to my fans. It's like, what the fuck are you doing, man?
Like a teenager, man.
Yeah, it's just disgusting, man. Not disgusting, but it's just unnecessary. But one fight I enjoyed on that note was the undercard. You mentioned it again the week before, the Guzman versus Rosas fight. I thought that was quite a good technical fight, and like Rosas was trying to put it on him, but Guzman, I was really impressed with his uppercuts and hook combination.
Yeah, real good stuff from Guzman. I mean, he's been knocking everybody out, so he's gonna have a shot at the title that Frampton just vacated against Shingo Wake. So that's a good fight between those two. Shingo Wake is a good boxer. He was the guy that Rigondeaux was supposed to fight a couple years ago after Amagasa, and then he decided not to take that fight apparently. So now Wake versus Guzman's for the vacant.
Yep. Chu and Leon, any thoughts about that PBC Friday card, the one with the Durrell brothers?
You know me.
I've only saw the knockouts, and the knockouts were brutal. So I didn't actually see any of the fights.
All right, one last card. Well, yeah, it was one last card. Huey Fury, Fred Cassie was disappointing. Fury just looked flat, but Cassie also, I thought he could have tried to do a bit more. It looked like he came out, couldn't really do anything for the first round, so just settled on just, with no tactic. Fury looked very flat, man, and even saying it throughout the fight, it was weird. It's like he didn't want to be there. No idea what that was about. Maybe he wasn't feeling well or something.
I think he's obviously still got issues with
his back acne.
With his chest acne, man, or just with his acne altogether.
Well, it's all kinds of. He's obviously haven't worked out what the allergy is yet, because that shit's still being produced, isn't it?
Chocolate, that's what it is, isn't it? If you got that many spots, right, your allergy is chocolate.
You're harsh. It's always your own Mancunian fighters as well.
I'm more critical about my own Leon. That's what it is.
Exactly. Don't back Crolla, shitting on the Furies. You had to troll him.
If you didn't know, you wouldn't think I'm from Manchester, would you?
No.
No. All right, quickly, but the fight, probably one of the best fights I've seen this year, man. Conor versus Nelson on the undercard of the Fury.
Whoa.
Fuck me, man. That was excellent to watch, man. See, I was never looking to watch, like stuff like Morales Barrera 1 and stuff live at the time. And when this fight was going on, I just thought looks like one of those instant classics where people will look back in 10 years and they'll have programs about. It was just such a fun fight for me. The back and forth, Conlon starting off strong, him being cut as well and his eye bruising up. Oh, sorry, he got dropped as well in the first round, I think it was. The first and the third. Nelson was dropped in the first as well. And then he dropped him with that beautiful... was it a body shot in the fifth? I can't remember. It might have been a headshot. And then the final one that dropped into the body in the eighth, man. It was just... If people are listening to this, if you've not seen it, I know Davey Boy Essex put one up on YouTube. I don't know if it's still there, because some of them will get taken down. If it's still there, you need to go watch this fight. It was Jamie Conlon versus Anthony Nelson a couple of weeks ago. Definitely.
It's definitely up in the fight of the year list, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely up there. Tune in. Did you guys see it?
I've not, mate, but I want to go see it now. After that,
I like this. He's always in fun fights. He cuts easy. He gets dropped. He's got heart. Got good shots to the body. He's a good fun fighter. And
would you like to see a rematch, Leon, or just move on?
Rematch, I don't care. I mean, remember that one you fought, that tough little Mexican guy?
Yeah.
Grados? That was a great fight.
Yeah, Junior Grados.
But, I mean, there was a thing on Box Nation website where he's like, I'm running out of my 9 lives, I can't keep doing this. It's like,
yeah, please
do.
Yeah, no, it was fun. Did you see it, Naoto?
Please.
Naoto?
About which fight?
Jamie Conlon versus Anthony Nelson.
Missed this one, to be honest with you.
You need to watch this shit, bruv. You'll love this fight, Naoto.
Will do. I'll peep it.
Street war.
All right, boys. Any news or anything you guys want to talk about before we bounce?
No, there's nothing much coming up, is there?
Upcoming week.
Oh well, you know what? I guess somebody was saying. Somebody commented it to me about Inoue. I guess they said that he hurt his right hand in the second round, then he hurt his left hand in the last round, but it's just like a bruise, and he'll be ready to fight by September.
Nice. Yeah, Leon. Next week, basically shit weekend of boxing, so nothing to really preview. There are fights in the prediction league, but they're kind of lower level fights. While I've been away this week, I've not really seen any big news on boxing scene. Every time I've caught some Wi-Fi or seen it, so nothing much to talk about.
Focusing on it, so just the fights this weekend, but
no problem. About Liam Smith?
Oh yeah, that appalling opponent.
Liam Smith's opponent, when the banner's so big and your opponent's name is so small, it's not going to be a competitive fight.
It's an absolute joke, Cam.
It's Warren, man. Like, even though I try and give Warren respect for what he's done with Box Nation as a channel, his domestic cards and domestic matchups are fucking terrible.
But you cannot look. He's fought Jimmy Kelly, who is literally, he's from Manchester. You've never heard of him, have you?
No.
No, he's fighting a guy who is ranked. I'm just using the box ranking. I know not everyone loves it, but I don't think we can argue with it. If you're 70th on box rec, shouldn't be fighting for a world belt. Oh, I think we'd all happily co-sign that, wouldn't we?
I think we do, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, how can you tell me this is worse than Brook? His fights are worse than the fights Brooks had. At least Brooks were mandatory. This man has chosen to fight these people. There's no way either of these guys could be mandatories.
No, that's very fair. It's very fair.
You're fighting outside of the top 50 in your division. I mean, it's laughable. And Warren deserves the same amount of hate that or not hate, because that's too strong a word, how we feel about Eddie Hearn cards. This is the same shit.
Yep.
This is possibly, I don't think even Eddie could get away with this on Sky.
He'd probably try, but they'd probably say no.
He'd try, but they might say no. But Warren, it doesn't matter because he's the boss of everything, isn't he? So he can do what he likes.
Eddie would have this as the co-main. Frank Warren would have this as the main.
Yeah, that's a fair comment.
Just in the last hour, Amir Khan has brought out a statement on BBC Sport. I put the link in the chat room, saying that he will never fight Kell Brook. Never.
Why is he saying that right after his loss? Like, why is it necessary to come out and say that?
Can I just I don't know if I didn't get a chance to say this. Man of the weekend was Hunter for what he said in the ring. Props.
Which bit?
I thought that was brilliant. Where he was just going, we took a risk. Now you stop hiding behind your flag.
Leon, Dan, I'll speak on Dan's behalf because I agree with him, and he's not here. That I don't think it's his place to say that.
I could care less if it's his place, though.
It's the truth. That's what he said was what we were all feeling.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Most people know that anyway, so why is it necessary to be said? But Khan didn't take that to step up and show the world what he can do. He got paid very handsomely to do that.
He has a point.
For Virgil to say that in the post-fight interview, when tension is high and stuff, I thought it was unnecessary. I see your point, and it does kind of.
It was completely necessary.
It does hype up the crowd and all that, but it's not his boxer. It's like he has no place. He has no need to say that.
Yeah, I mean, regardless, though, Marquez doesn't have any stake in it, and he said it. Barrera didn't have any stake in it. He said it. Chavez has said it. Estrada has said it.
They have a fucking stake in it. They're involved in the sport. They're allowed to air their views.
Wait a minute. Did Virgil Hunter not train Andre Ward when Andre Ward fought Paul Smith?
Yep.
So, okay, and Andre Ward is stepping up to take the risk against Kovalev.
Exactly. When? He's fighting his man.
When?
What do you mean when? After their next fights, they have a scheduled.
And what happens if one of them loses or gets badly injured and they're out for a year? Why are they fighting intermittent fights?
I don't know.
Although we can pick holes in everything. All I'm saying is,
at least they're fighting fighters at their weight.
My weight.
Yeah, okay.
He aired the view that lots of people agree with, and I think it was good of him to do it.
Leon,
I don't care if Dan, the Canelo fanboy, got a little bit of shit.
Leon, Jose just sent me a text message. He says, tell Leon he agrees with me. Ha ha ha, he's a casual. Because Jose did say the same thing. He liked what Virgil said in the ring.
Look, we all have our bad days. I might be having one of mine. All right. Fair points. Props to Jose. If he said that, I fully agree with him. But he loves the drama, doesn't he?
He loves the drama and excitement.
Drama and excitement.
All right, fellas.
I just, it was good to hear. It brought a smile to my face.
Fair enough. All right, let's get some fun. Knock. All right, let's get some final thoughts and get out of here, boys. Naoto, any final thoughts, young man?
Great fights all around. Great talking with you guys as usual, and we'll see what comes up this coming week and the next. So that's it.
Likewise, man. Thank you, Naoto. Leon, any final thoughts?
Brooke was on Sky Sports today. It was pathetic. I have pulled the handbrake on the train. I've stepped off. I'm trying to sell my ticket, but no one wants it.
What ticket and what did he actually say?
I'm off the hype train. I'm done with it.
Oh, you're selling the train tickets?
Yeah, the train tickets.
I thought you had like some type of Brook fight lined up and you bought the tickets or something.
No, I hope Khan doesn't fight him. Fuck him.
But just quickly, what was he saying on Sky though?
I didn't really listen to it properly, but the woman who was interviewing him, she looked shocked at some of the stuff he was saying. So, I mean, it's just boring. Until he fights someone that means it. He said he was after the Vargas fight. He said, I'm after big fights. I'm after the Vargas fight. I mean, it's not exactly shaking the needle, is it?
Jesse Vargas is a big fight.
That's what he was saying.
It is to him, though, isn't it?
But it's pathetic that he would jump on to Sky News just to basically gloat because Khan lost. Look, you know I'm no big Khan fan. I think he talks crazy. But it's just we don't care anymore. Fight someone, and that's it. Go and fight someone. Like Khan's gone and fought plenty of people through his career. Do it. You've been fighting C-level opponents for too long now.
Yep. All right. Cheers, Leon. Chew, any final thoughts?
No, I think we've kind of covered it, but just in regards to Khan, everyone, I'm seeing it everywhere. Every single casual fan, every kind of website, whether they cover boxing or they don't, whether they've got a part-time reporter who also covers fucking boat racing and tennis, such as the Guardian fucking boxing reporter, Kevin something. And he's like, he's main sports tennis.
Kevin Mitchell. Yeah, he blocked me last week.
He's main sports tennis. He chips in and boxing every now and again, and they're all saying like Khan is so brave, Khan. And listen, he is brave for taking on a bigger guy, but what is bravery? Bravery to me is taking on your biggest domestic rival. You know, the fear of losing. Khan doesn't want that. He will literally lose to anyone else but Kell Brook. And he even said that in that article that I was talking about that he posted an hour ago. It's personal. He doesn't like Brook. But what's Brook done to him?
Talk shit about him for years.
So's Khan. Khan's fucking top.
If someone talks shit about you for years, then you won't give him the time of day either.
Nah, but that's boxing. But you know what I mean? I think this is just a. I don't really see why a boxer has to like the other boxer in order for them to fight. I
don't think they have to like him. I think it's like the amount of dislike they have for him. And I understand, like, I want him to fight Brook as well, but I understand why he doesn't, because he doesn't want to give him the payday, and that doesn't make sense, but I understand why, because he thinks, fuck Brook, man, let him fight bums and get paid less money. Why should I be the stepping stone for him?
What tactical decisions is Brook making to force Amir Khan into making this fight? None. These mandatories are doing nothing. Amir Khan's it's not going to get people hyped, is it? If he's fighting a top level fighter, even if he fought Porter again and beat him, he could apply the pressure. But beating Jojo Donut and all these other fuckers is doing nothing for no one.
I'm really interested to see who his next opponent's going to be. Really interested to see what Eddie does next.
I think he might get Vargas.
His next opponent is very important now.
I think he's got to fight Spence. He's really...
Yeah, he's got to take that fight.
So many mandatories, and as soon as you've got a tough mandatory, you don't want the mandatories anymore. My opinion on Brook kind of changes. Like, it really is like a roller coaster with Kell Brook, you know. Like 2 weeks ago, I'm kind of like, fucking shut up, Kell Brook. Just let Khan go. Just let Khan do his thing. But now I'm kind of like, it's Khan. It's bad to Khan. Like, the bad. What would be the word? The bad reputation for this fight not happening is on Khan, in my opinion, because really, when you've got a guy like Brook there, you're fucking Sheffield, Bolton. How close is it geographically? It's like 80 miles or something, you know what I mean? You've got a guy right in your doorstep, your own weight class, a world champion, a fucking prestigious win that would be, and you won't fight him. I think that is fucking... Even if you don't like him, that should be the reason you fight him. I don't want to fight someone I like. And all the guys in the chat room are fucking really Jack Captain. I need to quote what Jack Captain saying: "If someone talks shit about you for years, then you would want to knock them out." It's ridiculous.
Shit get banged.
Exactly, Jack Captain, and fucking Shams 1000 immediately after it. Shams 1000 saying fights when there's genuine hate or dislike are much more entertaining.
That's true.
Exactly. I mean, Barrera, Morales, the fucking list goes on and on. Fucking Mike Tyson, Razor Ruddock. You know what I mean? There's so many fucking fights like that. You need a bit of needle.
De La Hoya Mayorga.
De La Hoya Mayorga, yeah, fucking, you need that fucking spice. I don't want to.
So why is
I don't want to shake hands.
Why is Eddie Hearn go, if they really want this fight, go and make him a 90-10 offer. Make some ludicrous offer, put it out there, forces Khan to make a fucking decision. He's fighting nobodies, achieving nothing. This is as much on him as it is on Khan now. I've changed my position. I'm done with Brook.
Nah, I'm done with Khan. I'm fucking done with Khan. I'm sick of this shit, Leon. I'm sick of everyone being like, Dan Raphael, I see it on my Twitter feed. He's so brave. He gets all the praise. He's so brave. He's so brave that he'll fucking run 2 weight classes away from Kilbrook. That's not bravery. Listen, and I know I'm going to get shit for that, but you're only doing that. He only took the fight with Canelo to point a finger up at Kilbrook. It's the only reason he done it. It's the only reason. Oh, and the 12 million. But, he's not doing it for prestige because he knew he couldn't win. And I'll get shit for that. I don't give a fuck. Fuck Cam. Sorry, Cam.
But I think we need to end on a positive.
Okay.
How good has Makubu's trolling of Tony Bellew been on Twitter? New favourite fighter.
I've not seen much of this, so you guys would have to give me the 411.
Oh, you got just go back over his timeline. He's been quality.
So what, has he just been taking shots at Bellew?
Yeah, just all pictures of Bellew folded up after Stevenson was knocked out, like saying this is what you're going to see on the 29th at Everton's ground.
Do you think that's him personally, or do you think it's just his team?
His nickname is Crybaby Bellew.
No, sorry, sorry to interrupt you, but do you think that's actually Makubu himself, or is his team doing all that shit?
Whoever's doing it, they get thumbs up from me.
Thumbs up from the Salt Man.
Yeah, if it's not Makubu himself, then give whoever's doing that a raise.
Yep.
Yeah, man, they're bringing it. And when he fully ices Bellew and folds him up like a deck chair, leaves him in the shed for the next 4 years, can't fucking wait.
That's classy. You know what? How much more entertaining is it when the two fighters talk shit to each other?
Way big time.
Yeah,
the
whole Canelo Khan.
That's the reason why with the face-offs.
That's
the reason why the face-offs were originally, a cool thing to see. They have the fighters face off and talk shit to each other.
Yeah,
not be like, yeah, I respect my opponent. He's a great fighter, and let me freaking give him a hand job after we're done doing this fucking interview. Get the fuck out of here.
No, I agree though, but sometimes there's some guys you just can't hate. So why fake it? Because I hate fake hate more than like two guys being cool with each other.
I get that, but I mean, these are fighters. You should be like, fuck this guy. I'm better than him. I'm gonna whoop his fucking ass. Like even if you don't hate him.
Not everyone's as angry as you, though, Naota.
I'm gonna cave your fucking head in, bitch.
Some people in life, and it's not just fighters. Some people don't like getting riled up. They become unraveled and shit. Look at that Conor McGregor. It happens to everyone. Everyone in life has got like
I love this guy.
A point. Everyone in life has got a fucking point where they don't like it. They don't like that kind of mental pressure. It's like, why doesn't this guy like me? Because everyone wants to be liked.
True.
And they're like, in their head, it's like, why doesn't this guy like me? Look at Joe Fraser. Joe Fraser was like, fucking friends to everyone, singing karaoke songs and playing his guitar and shit. And he's like, why doesn't Muhammad Ali like me? And that fucking cultural, fucking respect that a guy like Muhammad Ali you would get a lot of respect in your own from your own culture, from your own people, if Muhammad Ali gave you props. But Muhammad Ali is going to fucking fight Joe Fraser. He's not giving him anything. It's a fucking war as soon as you sign the contract. I think that's like a lot of fans and a lot of boxers. They don't realise it's a fucking fight.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Stop being friends with these cunts.
Yeah.
Makubu is he's only just joined Twitter. He's done 15 tweets, and they've just all been pure trolls. He is gold dust.
Does anyone know if it's a genuine account though, or it's just a troll?
I hope it is. He's just trolling, trolling Khan. There's a picture of Khan knocked out on the floor, and he's just got like the crying with laughter faces.
All right, boys. I think we should end the show now. So I want to thank all you guys for jumping on the show. I want to thank all the people in the chat and all the people that download week in, week out. We'll be back next week. Peace.
Peace.
You just listened to the Boxing Coalition.
Oh, dude, man, I love boxing. I fucking love boxing.
A big shout out to the Boxing Coalition.
You're a newbie.
No, I ain't new, man.
If my fucking next door neighbour became the #1 flyweight in the world, you know what I'd do? I'd fucking walk past the cunt.
Derek, how you doing, bro?
I was physically banging, blood.
I disagree.
First time I hear the song, man, it was fucking badass.
Vamos Argentina, la concha de su madre.
I see the bomb in them.
I get home and she's like, what the fuck? Me and the kid are here. Why don't you get home and talk to us? I'm like, man, you guys don't know shit about boxing.
Kel, how does it feel to be the new IBF champion?
Feels great. Did we really dive into the black hole right off the jump?
I think he's hiding glass.
Just to play devil's advocate. You want 1 portion of crow or 2 portions of crow?
Give me 2 portions with a supersized fries and a large drink, please.
I can't stand him, what? I'm Scottish.
Cringe side?
But you won't rush Anthony fucking fat ass Joshua, would you?
He's not fat.
How about you tell us what you ate for your final thoughts?
My weight?
Thank you for listening to the Boxing Coalition. We are live every Monday, 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. UK time, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern.